we're live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the show tonight. We have a kind of a controversial show, I want to say, but it's something that needs to be talked about, and I'm hoping that we can talk about it and y'all talk to your friends about it, have an open discussion. Tonight on the show is me and Bilal as normal.
I
And
can't believe you just said this is going to be controversial when we just had that Monday stream where, like, literally we were fighting
true,
with you.
true. Monday it seemed like we had like a three-ring circus, and we were kind of like Bilal was on one end, I was on the other end, and then in the middle it was just trolls. But you know
complete,
what?
complete chaos.
It
Complete
it was.
chaos.
I think the only takeaway from that though is we met a really good amount of people who, that didn't play the fence. They were like, he's helped me, but I do not agree with him. So that was really
Yeah,
good. I like those kind of people that are kind of like, yeah, he's being crazy. I'm telling him he's being crazy, but
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I
Hi,
get
Free
it.
Bleeder, by the way. Hi,
Hey,
Free
Free
Bleeder.
Bleeder. Hey, everybody on Facebook and on YouTube. I know it's an early show, but I think we're going to start doing 6:30 shows now.
Yeah, mainly what focus is because we see a lot of people going live because of the whole. A lot of people that watch us also watch true crime, and they're going to be
Mm-hmm.
probably watching Queen Bee and other channels that are going live in a bit. So I figure we'll start a little early to try to,
Mm-hmm.
so that they can watch a little bit of the beginning and maybe rewatch the end. You know how it is. So
Mm-hmm.
anyway, let's continue. So what is this forced confession? We're going to talk about basically forced confessions,
Mm-hmm.
pushed by the police, and basically a little bit about truth about the pseudosciences that go out there and all that crap. What really sparked this particular stream was I was watching this channel that I'm not even going to say the name of the channel, but the name of the video was Sammy Smith, Why So Suspicious, Part 3.
Oh
Kylie Rodney's friend
God.
interview. And at 151, this woman puts up a video of like, if you suck in your lips, that's like you're lying, or it's like guilt or nervousness. And I said to myself, how many people are actually, and I saw, I think, thousands of people watching this video. And I'm like, how many people actually saw this and read this
Yeah.
and actually thought, this is how an interrogate, this is like true.
Hey, Red
And
Rock.
hey, Rod Rock. Um, it just it was very crazy to me when I saw that. So I figured, why not do a video? We go through interrogations. We'll
Mm.
put on a video of the FBI agent who actually does interrogation
Mm-hmm.
and body language, and, and all that stuff. And we'll go through like basically the Michael Crow interrogation. You'll talk about the Memphis Three a little bit. We
Mm-hmm.
might go through another two more if we have time. And we really just talk about a lot of the problems with the police officers and false information that's
Mm-hmm.
out there in the public. It's not as spicy as talking about certain people, but I figure it's a good educational thing, and also we learn, you learn, spread the information around, and hopefully
Well,
it is what it.
it's kind of on the same subject of everything that's going on because the only difference between a YouTuber and a police officer is a badge. You can be crucified, and you can be crucified by a police officer, and you can also be crucified on YouTube. Do you get what I'm saying? Granted, one you go to jail, the other one you get bullied for life, but it's
Yeah,
still a punishment, and it's running a false narrative.
yeah, exactly. So basically the movie we're gonna, not that one. That
Not
was the
this one.
video we're gonna. Yeah, that was the video we're gonna start with. That was her video, by the way. That was the person's video. We're gonna really start with, and we'll stop as we go along. We're gonna start with the video I sent you on Discord. I sent
Former FBI agent.
no, the video I sent you was ABC News
Oh yes.
exposes. Yeah, that one.
Okay, I got this one. Um, so this is the first video, as Bilal said. ABC News exposes NITV CVSA scam. This is from, I guess, an
Now,
unknown YouTuber.
yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Yeah.
this is an old ABC video, but what is it? You might not know what this is. It's surprisingly still being used today, this technology. It's a voice stress analyzer, basically. And this was the main reason why Michael Crow was actually did a false confession. If you don't know Michael Crow, there's a YouTuber, who's Chris McDonald, and he
Mm-hmm.
was the police officer that was that forced this kid to make this confession. He does his YouTube. He's got other problems. I might get into it in his past, but it's so many shit that he's been involved in. It's taken me to, it's, you know, I have to really look into it. I don't like doing half-ass, but he was into a lot of things on YouTube. A lot of YouTube fucking drama, this guy, especially with Summer Wells. But I wanted to bring up his interview because it talks about how he used lies and also pseudoscience to basically make a 14-year-old kid make a false confession that he killed his 12-year-old sister. If you don't know the case, I'll read you a small snippet. You might get the information from the video, but so you have an idea what's going on. Hi, Nora.
Hey,
So
Nora.
basically, I'll read the case. Case overview. On January 21st, 1998, a 12-year-old Stephanie Crow was found by family members lying on her bedroom floor, stabbed to death. The police investigation started with an immediate family. Each family member was interviewed separately with an increased focus to put on Stephanie's 14-year-old brother. Michael was interrogated for 27 hours over 3 days. Two close friends of Michael were also questioned using inappropriate tactics on the three youths. The police were able to obtain confessions. The method used to obtain the confessions left much to doubt about their accuracy. The police used lies, false promises, threats in order to pursue the boys confess. False confessions expert Richard Leo analyzed the videotape interrogation and concluded that all three confessions were coerced. Leo described the interrogation as a form of psychological torture that led the boys to say anything in order to make it stop. All three charges against Michael and his two friends were dropped when it became obvious that they had nothing to do with Stephanie's murder. This case is a textbook example of how not to interrogate a substance. So basically what happened was, and I'll give you the summary, you're going to see it in the video. It's one of the saddest cases. And even like the murderer just did 7 years. We'll get to that. But yeah, that was the weird thing. Basically what they did was they used a technology called the CVSA. It's a voice stress analyzer. And basically it would see if it was stressful and stuff. But what really made it a problem was that, number one, it only has really a 40% accuracy. It was later kind of banned from the military. It was used in 2003 by the military, but they stopped because it only had a 40% success rate. But it's still being used today, by the way, guys. But
Really?
what happened? Yeah, it's still being used. It was actually used in the Zimmerman trial, like when they did it to him too.
It's not submissible in court, though, so I don't understand why doing it.
They use it because the one thing people don't realize is cops in the United States have the ability, one of greatest abilities, which is they can lie to you. So what they did to this kid is they told him that the voice stress analyzer can basically go into your subconscious and know that you're lying somehow. And they went into like a lot of lies and promises and basically used this machine to say like it can do magical things like, detect if you're lying.
Mind you, they're saying this to a 12-year-old boy.
Yeah,
a 14-year-old boy. Wait, yeah, 14-year-old kid. He was 14. His sister was 12.
Yeah,
Horrible.
a lot of people don't know about this, and there's actually a YouTuber.
I didn't know about this.
Chris, so let's play the video that I gave you, and we'll just start, and I'll stop it.
The ABC one, yes.
Yeah, let me just go to open it up because I'm not smart. All right, I'm ready.
Stop it.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay, let's go. We're going to see a younger version of Chris Cuomo's brother too, so that's going to be a shocker too.
Oh wow. No. Okay, we're at 0-0 and we're pressing play now.
Can you tell when someone's lying by their tone of voice or their stress level? Police think they can.
Oh my God,
with the
he
help
is
of a
young.
machine that has put some people behind bars. But there are critics that say the contraption is no better than a sewing machine for determining the truth. Here's ABC's chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross.
Just after 9 in the morning in West Palm Beach, Florida, as a helicopter swoops in low over what is called the National Institute for Truth Verification.
Oh, I'll get to that, Nor. Believe me, I'll get to that,
the
Nor.
day
I'll
starts
answer
for
that
its
after
owner,
this.
Dr. Charles Humble, who has become
Oh, this
a wealthy
guy's a
man
joke.
by selling what he says is a virtually foolproof system to help catch criminals and liars.
1,500 police departments throughout the country have paid $10,000 per system for over the last 18 years and rely on it exclusively for truth verification.
Yes.
This is Dr. Humble's truth
No.
verification system, a laptop
Yes.
equipped with a microphone and loaded with a software program called the Computer
Yes.
Voice Stress Analyzer, the CVSA. The system
No.
produces a kind of voice print said to show
Yes.
stress, an indication of deception.
No. The instrument will tell you whether or not the individual is telling the truth. If they
That
do
is
not
so
respond
stupid.
truthfully, the instrument
It's
will
still
tell
being
us that.
used.
I just want you to say yes, no, okay?
Police in California used Dr. Humble's CVSA
Oh, poor
to help
querido.
get a 14-year-old boy to confess to killing his younger sister. In Nevada, police arrested this probation officer on rape charges after he failed a CVSA test. And the U.S. military has been using Dr. Humble's machine on terror suspects at
This was in
Guantanamo
2003,
Bay
by the
and
way,
in
guys.
Iraq.
Yeah, mind you,
We
this
have a
is, yeah.
remarkable record of success with the system.
This has become the gold standard.
That's correct.
If they answer yes,
But it has become the gold standard, being sold to more and more police departments every week, despite growing questions about the scientific
But they
validity
still
of
use
the
it
machine
today.
and about the credentials
Yeah.
of Dr.
Yeah.
Humble himself.
Is there a
2,000
single scientific
police
study?
and the military and security use it.
Right,
I
nor
don't believe there has
poor
been an
kids.
independent scientific study that shows this actually works.
Not one.
I don't believe there has been.
So how can you sell it as being so effective?
Well, the
Shouldn't there, be
CVSA
some,
sells it.
shouldn't there be some science that backs up what you're saying?
Well, the CVSA sells itself.
Dr.
Does it
Humble says
now.
the machine can only really be tested in the field, where he says it has an accuracy rate of 98%.
I didn't do it. Don't blame me.
But he clearly was not including what
Oh,
happened
this poor
in the
baby.
case of 14-year-old Michael Crow, the California boy who confessed to killing his sister. The machine got it very wrong. 12-year-old Stephanie Crow was found
I'm
stabbed
going to
to
pause
death
it
in-
real quick. I'm just going to pause it real quick. When you take a 14-year-old boy and put him in an interrogation room, no matter what the conditions are, and he's being blamed for killing his 12-year-old sister, don't
Yeah.
you think he's going to be stressed, even if he's
Well,
innocent?
That's the problem with a lot of people when they go with this pseudoscience stuff.
Yeah.
Where they basically think like they don't really understand that people will be stressed and it's going to mess it up. First off,
Yeah.
the officer is standing by the door. It's an enclosed space. They're their sister is dead, you know.
Poor
so they're
thing.
already they're stressed out. Usually most interrogators will look at you in a relaxed state and get you relaxed. That's
Yeah.
what most interrogators will do. And they will just see and just have you talk and just look at your reactions and how you're doing with certain body actions. But it's not like every person reacts differently to stress. Every person
Oh, yeah.
reacts differently. There's no like Google format for one person. Like this person sucks in their lips, so they could be hiding someone thing. Or this person is, squinting a little bit. Or this person's eyes are moving around. Like, for instance, that's a popular lie. People believe that if you move your eyes around, they're like, that's you, like, thinking of a lie, like, in one side and the truth in the other. It's actually just you processing. It's just you processing and trying to get data. So you to assume that that is a lie, that's false. Everyone also says that when you grab your stomach and you're protecting yourself. But that's really more of a self-hug. That's what the FBI
Yeah,
even said.
I've heard of that because there's that YouTuber during the Johnny Depp trial. He did, what is it called? When you try to explain what a person's physical reaction is, like it was like Amber Heard was tugging at her ear or something, and but he made it very clear in the beginning of all his shows that Body Analyst, I think that's what it was. He was like, it's not 100% accurate. This is just what I have been taught and
Now,
what.
Now I'm going to give you a little bit of a history class, and I know you guys don't like it, but it says before there used to be something called the third degree light, which is basically where like people could torture you, the police officers, to get answers. So the history is that
They did that in the Inquisition too, when they thought you were Jewish.
I'll read you. The interrogation technique employed by virtually every law enforcement agency in North America over past half century, hundreds of thousands of officers have been trained to use it. The point of the Reed method is not to gather information that will help solve the crime. It is to obtain confession from suspects that police have decided is guilty. To end a detective, let me see. Maybe I'm reading the wrong thing. But that's the Reed detective. But I'm sorry, guys. It says
Am I at the right website? The OLR research report, is that interrogation? Or do I not have the link that you're reading right now?
Oh, it's the crime report here.
And Nor, I will definitely bring
Why don't
up
you ask?
Steve Avery, and also, yeah, my heart. It's more kids than this. Kids get, I guess, from my experience of watching some cases, is that kids get more scare tactics than adults when it
Yeah.
comes to interrogations. And what were you gonna say, B? Sorry.
Yeah, that's very true. Because a lot of times even adults can confess to crimes that they didn't do if
Oh,
they
yeah.
feel like there's no way out.
Yeah.
Uh,
When it gets with kids, though, I noticed they get creative. You'll
Yeah.
never see your mom again. You never see your dad. You know,
Yeah.
you're gonna get beat up, imprisoned. And, like, it's weird. Like, it's like, why are you talking to this child like this? Granted,
Yeah.
there are child killers out there. Let's not be fucking unreal. But the thing is, though, majority of the time, the kid is innocent, and they're
Yeah.
just being shitty cops.
So basically, as Justice White put it, a confession is like no other evidence. It's a shortcut to a conviction and complete reversal of the presumption of innocence. Until the mid-20th century, the third degree was a dominant method of interrogation. The police would beat a suspect until he confessed and lie about it in court. They got away with it because judges looked the other way. Then in 1931, so they used to beat you up.
Oh.
That was what it was called, the third degree. They used to come in there and beat the shit out of you until you confessed, the cops. And that was how they got confessions until 1931. Then in 1931, a commission appointed by President Hoover to investigate prohibition-related corruption issued the Wickerham Report, which documented the ubiquitous use of third degree, which I get. The report, popularized and widely read in books, shocked the American public. The third degree had to be abandoned when juries started rejecting confessions and downed police witnesses. This left the police without an effective method of extracting confessions until the void stepped John Reed, who obtained convictions in several high-profile cases, including that of Darrell Parker in 1955. The real touted a technique as reliable way of obtaining confessions without physical abuse. So before that, they used to do the beat the shit out of you, and now the police officers do something called the Reed interrogation, and that's called I can toss it to you just in case.
It's basically like this. It's basically the same thing, except one's verbally.
Yeah, it's not really works too well because it gets people to confess to things that they really don't do.
And this is the thing. The real person, the real killer, walks away. And yeah, learning disabled. We are going to talk about the learning disabled about it because I am going to bring up Jesse Miss Kelly, and also Nora brought it up perfectly. Currently, the Steve Avery case. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically now they use the Reed system. But the thing is that they use polygraphs, and then they lie about what a polygraph does because most people get their information from like TV where they're like, oh, lies, it's a lie detector, it detects you lying, but it just detects if you're perspirating or you're sweating or if you're stressed or a higher heartbeat, and that does not mean anything. A good example of that.
Real quick, hey Ginny,
Ginny.
and Ginny says in the worst way, it's horrible. She's on Facebook, yeah. And also shout out to Ginny. I'm not going to get personal or anything, but we all hope that you have a fast recovery. We're with you.
Yep.
But yeah, there is a lot. Go ahead with the exam.
I hope Jenny. I hope. Yeah, but I said I hope Jenny feels better. But.
Yeah, I haven't told you yet. I don't think.
That's why
I don't think I'm going to tell you. That's up to her. But yeah, she's a mod for us. She's an amazing woman, and we all hope that she has a good recovery. She's in the best hands possible.
That's good. I hope she does get a better recovery. I don't know what it is, but whatever it is, I hope she recovers. The Reed states an interrogation should only occur when investigators reasonably certain the suspect's involvement of the issue under investigation. There are 9 steps to the Reed interrogation technique. Briefly described here. I'll just put it in the chat, so just in case the people want to read along, and just I'll put it in.
Oh, you just sent it to me. Okay. Wait, yeah, that's the one Is that the one I had open? Yeah, I have this one open. That's the one I was too, but I didn't know where you were.
Hi, that girl.
Hey, that girl.
So basically, let me just go back.
Yeah.
It basically the 9 Reed convictions is positive confrontation. The investigator tells the suspect that the evidence demonstrates a person's guilt. If the person's guilt seems clear to the investigators, the statement should be unequivocal. 2. The theme of development. The investigator then presents a moral justification theme of the offense, such as placing the moral blame on someone else or an outside circumstance. The investigator presents themes in a monologue and a sympathetic matter. 3. Handling denials. When the suspect asks permission to speak at the stage likely to deny the accusation, the investigator should discourage allowing the suspect to do so. The Reed website asserts that innocent suspects are less likely to ask for permission and more likely to promptly, unequivocally deny the accusation. The website states that it is very rare for an innocent suspect to move past the denial state. So, take that as you will. Overcoming objections. When attempts at denial do not succeed, a guilty suspect often makes objections to support a claim of innocence, e.g., I would never do that because I love my job. The investigator should generally accept these objections as if they were truthful rather than arguing with the suspect, and use the objections to further develop the theme. Procurement and relations of suspect attention. The investigator must procure the suspect's attention so that the suspect focuses on the investigator's theme rather than on punishment. One way the investigator can do this is to close the physical distance between himself and herself, as a suspect investigator should also channel the theme down to the probable alternative component. Now, the problem with that is I watched an FBI agent go through a behavior analyst guy. And he saw these two people talking, and he noticed that one person was uncomfortable having someone close to them, and one person was closer, going close, like being near them. And he saw the body language. So just naturally assume that this will automatically, for some people, let's say a police officer is coming right next to you and blocking you from the door, is probably going to make you more stressful. That and two, your 12-year-old sister is dead, and you got two grown adults that you don't have a lawyer, your parents don't know where you are, and now you're being lied to, being said that your parents said that they hate you or something like that. And then also this machine is basically reading your subconscious mind. The next
it's
part
horrible. Mind y'all, in this particular case, this child is 14 years old.
Yeah. So, this is like, there's more to it to read it. I know we're reading a little bit, we're learning, I'm sorry, guys, but you need to know this stuff so when you watch the video, you actually have an understanding of what things they did wrong, even in their own procedures, and how this Reed procedure kind of fucks things up even badly. Even worse. It says, 6, handling the suspect's passive mood. The investigator, quote, should intensify the theme of presentation and concentrate on central reasons he or she is offering as a psychological justification, and continue to display an understanding and sympathetic demeanor in urging the suspect to tell the truth. 7, presenting an alternative questioning. The investigator should present two choices, assume the suspect's guilt, and developed as a logical extension from the theme, with one in turn offering better justification for the crime. Quote, did you plan this thing out, or did it just happen on the spur of the moment? The investigator may follow the question with supporting statements which, quote, encourages the suspect to choose the more understandable side of the alternative. 8, having a suspect orally relate various details of the offense. After the suspect accepts one side of the alternative, thus admitting guilt, the investigator should immediately respond with a statement of reinforcement acknowledging that admission. The investigator then seeks to obtain a brief oral review of the basic events before asking more details. Question. 9. Converting an oral confession into a written confession. The investigator must convert the oral confession to a written or recorded confession. And then it says the critiques of it is there has been considerable academic research on the various aspects of the police interrogation, including whether interrogation method can lead to false confessions. Below we briefly describe some criticism, the Reed's technique, as well as the responses to such criticism by Reed Association. For more details. So basically discerning truth from deception, false confessions, and that's pretty much the situation that occurs. So this all played a part with also the pseudoscience going into it as well. So let's continue the video, and we'll just stop it as we go along.
Okay, we're going back to the ABC video, and we're at 2 minutes and 59 seconds, and we're pressing play now.
In her bedroom, Michael was brought into the Escondido Police Department for questioning and hooked up to the CVSA in the middle of the night.
Is today Thursday? Yes. Did you take Stephanie's life? No.
The detective then tells Michael that he has failed the test.
And it showed that you had some deception on some of the questions. Okay? That doesn't know you. I can tell you in my experience.
Right, Nor?
Yeah.
Started to think that, maybe the machine's right.
And he's 14 years
Especially
old.
when they added
No
on the fact
parents'
that the machine
permission.
was getting my subconscious feelings on it. That I could be lying and not even know it.
Crow,
That's
now
him now.
21,
Yeah.
says at the time he believed the detective's claims about the machine.
They said the machine is more accurate than the polygraph and is the best device for telling the truth, for finding the truth.
That's him older.
Do you believe that?
Yes, I believe them.
Once he was told he failed the test, Michael says he began to doubt his own memory and wonder whether maybe he had killed his sister.
Can you tell me what you did with the knife? What? God, I don't know. I didn't do it. No, wait a minute. Does that mean you can't tell me about
Oh,
the knife?
mijo.
What are you talking about? Okay. We can't bring her back.
Shouldn't a parent be in there?
She's gone.
They lied to the parents. They didn't even tell him that he was supposed to be interrogated.
Oh my
Wanted to
god.
prison, and I just wanted to be out of that room.
Oh god.
So my only option was to just say, yeah, I guess I did it. And then hope for the
Hey
best.
in the bushes. Mind you, this is hours before he made the false confession.
27
Michael's
hours.
parents,
27
still grieving
in
over the
three
murder of their
days.
daughter, were now told their son was the killer.
It was horrible to be told that your son had killed your daughter. They told us they had evidence, and they considered this voice stress
Hi, Bushes.
analyzer and this interrogation evidence.
Michael spent 9 months in custody before police finally found the real killer.
That's the real
A
killer.
transient who was convicted based on DNA evidence.
His mustache
False
alone. No, I'm
confessions
just playing.
Dr. Humble's machine were denounced by the judge.
And he said that he found it as reliable as a Singer sewing machine.
Could your machine be wrong?
I don't believe the instrument was wrong.
Oh, you're gonna find out about this guy's background, this doctor.
The machine.
It's amazing.
That when he said he didn't
He's
kill
an
her,
Terry-
he was lying.
Jim Terry's more
He's
qualified than this
He
guy
killed his sister.
to be a PI.
Do you owe Michael Crow an apology?
I don't believe I owe Michael Crow an apology.
But when the
Then
Crow
this-
family sued Humble's company, the case was settled out of court after a top executive admitted under oath the machine can only detect stress and is not capable of detecting truth or lies.
And that child was under stress.
Yeah.
Determine whether somebody is lying.
In a word, yes. This device is nothing more than a prop.
And this guy's mustache.
John
What the hell's
Palmatier,
going on with these
PhD
men?
in psychology,
Well, it
studied
was the
machines
early
with the
2000s.
Michigan State Police, where he worked, and says his study and others found there is no scientific basis for Dr. Humble's
Looks like a
claim.
John
You
Waters
could not
mustache.
accurately
You know who I'm
discriminate
talking about?
Yeah.
between truthful
Yeah.
and deceptive subjects using that device
So somebody could lie and get away with it.
easily.
And would people tell the truth and be seen as liars?
Easily.
Yeah.
You just don't know what you're going to get.
Yet hundreds of police departments swear by the machine's usefulness, as Dr. Humble's promotional videos and the website show.
We don't have any unhappy customers.
Palmatier says, in his view, that's because the machine works as a prop, a $10,000 prop.
Yep.
You're saying it might
That's
be
your
used to
money,
scare
people.
somebody
That's your
Oh,
tax
exactly.
money.
into admitting they've done something wrong.
Police officers have for years.
Humble says his machine is under attack from people who are supporters of the standard lie detector, the polygraph.
If you're looking for a prop, that's an awfully expensive prop.
Maybe is that what it is, though? Is that how it really works?
Absolutely not. And again, if you do the research and you go back to these police departments,
We should have this guy use his own invention on
error
himself on
rate,
this interview.
according to them, again, is
Right?
extremely low.
But we found some police departments, including one in suburban Las Vegas, have stopped using Dr. Humble's machine because of concerns about reliability. In Nevada, Vincent Sedgwick, the married father of a young daughter, was wrongly charged with rape, carrying a possible life sentence.
Oh, good
The
lord.
arrest warrant, based in large part on his supposed failure on a CVSA test.
I went from shock to anger and a lot of resentment. I'm very bitter towards them for doing that.
The judge in the case, Lee Gates, was equally outraged, throwing out the charges against Sedgwick and harshly criticizing the police for relying on a
Good
machine
for
he
him.
called scientifically unreliable.
It's fucking
Not only
garbage.
They use it for investigative purposes,
Yeah.
but they use it as a predicate to get him arrested and to have him charged and brought into the criminal justice system, which I think was the biggest miscarriage of justice.
How about the Sedgwick case in Las Vegas?
Okay.
No comments.
Apologize, were they?
No,
Not at all.
no,
Machine was not wrong.
no,
You think Vincent Sedgwick was guilty?
yes.
Sedgwick may have been cleared by
That's
a judge in
so
a court of
damaging.
law. But
Well,
not
you're gonna
by
find out
Dr.
his
Humble's
Dr. Humble, why he's
$10,000
called
machine.
Doctor.
The CVSA.
Let's just
No
say
mention of
Tyler
the
has
case
more
of the
degrees than this
micro-procase
guy.
Oh,
on the
good
promotional
Lord.
videos Dr. Humble uses to sell his machines to American law enforcement.
He literally buys a Dell
And
computer
throughout
and
the
puts a
material,
sticker on the
Humble
back.
is always introduced as
Yeah.
Dr. Humble.
Dr. Humble.
Even though, as Primetime discovered, he is not a medical doctor.
This is
and
wild.
has not earned a PhD
He's always
degree from an
calm.
accredited
Maybe that's why he
university.
taught himself
No,
to be
well,
calm.
let's do this part.
Dr.
Okay.
Yes, you do. Yes.
The diploma he has on his office wall, Doctor of Psychology, was awarded by a Bible college in Indiana.
Oh, good
He used
Lord.
to have an office in this strip mall.
Oh
where
my God.
Humble's first office was located.
It just gets
Indiana
worse.
Christian University.
Is that an accredited university?
No,
No, it's not accredited. It's, well, when I say it's not accredited.
It's
So
not.
you call yourself
It's not
Dr. Humble
credited.
based on that?
Yes,
Where'd you learn?
Is that
that he's a fucking quack.
I think it is.
Yeah.
PhD in psychology?
Yeah.
An honorary, yes.
Did you
Honor.
take any classes there?
Yes.
What classes were there?
There was 6 hours.
And what were the classes?
There were 6 hours. He asked you what the
Oh,
classes were, not how long.
There were Bible studies.
Okay, stop it. Stop it.
And
Okay,
that's the man.
pressing pause now.
Yeah, he because Tony talked a little bit. He
Yeah,
said the
sorry.
6 hours of the class was Bible study.
Yeah,
so
that's
the psychologist,
insane.
technologist guy studied the Bible for 6 hours, created a quack machine, and is now selling it to the government for $10,000, and resulted in countless people being harassed, jailed, and basically fucked over in their lives because this guy. No one did a background check. They just said, well, he's a doctor. He has a PhD on his wall, so he should be a doctor. And no one even did a background check.
Mm-hmm. People, see, that's the thing. And this was like around, this news release was around 2003, mind you.
Yeah, but the technology's
People-
still being used
Yeah,
today.
that's what I was about to say, is that the issue is it's still being used. Exactly what Red Rock said. Exactly. And yeah, Bible studies. Fucking Bible studies. When I was a kid, I went through Bible studies. Am I a fucking... Am I a doctor?
Dr. Tony.
Oh my God.
Dr. Tony from now on.
Dr. Tony. I'm a doctor, y'all. It's
That's the
okay.
new-
Belial, turn your head and cough.
Am I lying?
No, it feels like you're telling the truth. A little
Yeah, that's-
stiff.
Like, holy shit. Like, I couldn't believe that part when he basically said he did the Bible study, and it was just like, holy shit.
I know exactly what he did. He took a laptop. He took a laptop from anywhere, probably an Acer laptop at Walmart. If anybody knows what an Acer is, it's one of the cheapy brands that you get when you're like, oh, I need a laptop for just basic shit. All right, he got an Acer laptop for $300. He bought homemade stickers, put his fucking logo on the back of the Acer laptop. He invented a program which takes clips of your voice pattern, which I even have a program that does that.
Here, Tony, just show everyone the website that they can learn.
He has a website.
You could call up and become get it now, guys. Show them the website.
I could make this program, and I'm a fucking idiot. Oh god.
You could go for training. You could buy the products, the resources. I mean, I'm sure it's worth more now because it was 2003. It was 10,000.
Is there? You can trade it in other products. I want the system. Let's look at the system. Are they going to give me a price?
Yeah, I don't know if
It's
they're
a
gonna give you
Dell. I told you it was a fucking Dell.
It's a Dell. That's
It's
selling
a fucking Dell.
In 2003, they were selling for $10,000. Bro, we need to get. This is the grift that we need to get into. This is an amazing grift.
I have to actually put in my information to see how much it cost.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing that's probably worth with inflation $30,000 at this point. Because the computer's worth about like $400, and their other stuff is now worth. And it goes through scientific studies.
Dude, they have other products.
Holy shit. Research and recent studies of science voice stress analysis. While the computer voice stress analysis is often considered an emerging technology, a cutting-edge truth verification system has been established as an important investigative tool by law enforcement for a long time now. From discovering how voices change in relation to stress in the 1970s to the today studies on the computerized technologies of enhanced systems and capacities. Many of the scientific community have been intrigued by the capacity of the CVSA and the hidden messages of the human voice. With this in mind, we will endeavor to make the studies that underpin the scientific validate. This is what happens when
the Book of Mormon does count. You are a doctor too, Dr. Rock. We're all fucking doctors at this point.
Has anyone read the Bible? If you have, you are a doctor. Congratulations. We have the most highest rated doctors in our chat. We have 12 doctors, including myself, 14 doctors.
There you go. I want you to click on that site. Click Real Cases Solved, and the first one that pops up is something from the first 48 hours. It's a video. I'm not going to click it. I think it's a Utah Pleasant Grove PD.
Oh my god.
And they literally log every single... Well, here's the thing. If you have a million of these machines and hundreds of thousands police stations, okay? Just say you're using this product. Your people are using it in the police station. You're bound to get one person who did do the murder by using this. It's just statistics. So it's just common. It's all fucking numbers.
Well, it's just like the polygraph machine. The polygraph machine doesn't really work. There was a study in 1966 where a guy, it was called February 1966, Baxter attached a polygraph electrodes to a Dracona cane plant to measure at first the time taken for water to reach the leaves. The electrodes are used to measure the galvic skin response of the plant, showed readings which resembled that of a human. So the guy put this polygraph, and he thought that because the polygraph picked up the signal, that the plant had human emotions. And it wasn't just that the polygraph is a piece of shit machine that was invented in like 1930 something, and that it just weighs like how much stress your heartbeat and like how much you sweat. So it's like what they do is these cops grab these quacky machines, like the one we just looked at for just now, and the polygraph, and they just put it down. They says, well, this machine has said you're a liar. So you bet, and then they go with the read thing, and they start interrogating you, and they just they make it uncomfortable for you. They accuse you. They don't tell you about your rights, that you can walk out the door right then, that you can leave as long as you're not under arrest. And if you're under arrest, all you need to do is say, I'd like to see a lawyer, and they have to stop questioning. So they do this. They play on vagueness and quack technology, and they fuck you over. And you'll see later on, those 3 kids, by the way, in that case, had to spend 9 months in jail because...
you think that's fucking bad? West Memphis 3, okay? They did the exact same tactics to one kid. We're going to get to it. You thought that was bad? 9 months in jail? These people spent 18 years in jail. 18 years, and one of them was on death row. He was about to be executed. But we'll get to that. No, this pisses me off because if anybody knows the West Memphis 3 and knows me, it's the one case that I'm fully dedicated to.
Yeah, and this is a case where we're talking about the Michael Crow, where Chris McDonald basically was one of the detectives, and he gets an interview on this. We'll continue the video and watch his interview.
Okay, can I click out of this one because I feel like the FBI is going to start watching me now.
Well, we need more viewers, so if the FBI is welcome to come to our chat and watch, we need like, if they're willing to donate the FBI, instead of like paying this guy $10,000 or $20,000 for his machine, I'll take the $20,000 if you want to give it to me. I can tell you if someone's lying. I can lie that I could just sit there and say, yeah, I'm a psychic, and I have the ability to tell if you're telling the truth.
Yeah, Jesse, Miss Kelly. No, I'm listening to you. Sorry, I'm reading also. No, Belial will definitely do it.
For $20,000, I'll just come up and be like, I'll put on like the suit and the glasses, and I'll comb back my hair, and I'll pretend to be like some sort of psychic from the CIA, and I'll be like, and I'll put my 2 fingers by my forehead, and I'll be like, I'm having a feeling. You're stressed.
Right.
I feel lies coming from you.
You can get like a crystal ball and put it right next to your
I'll put a
laptop.
crystal ball. I'll put a crystal ball. I'll attach the crystal ball into the laptop and say that it's enhancing the abilities of the laptop. It's a combination of the occult and science, and we're trying to, and we just, I can tell it not only if you're lying.
Never know. Imagine this machine existing in 1993 during the whole peak of Satanic Panic. Do you remember Satanic Panic?
Yeah, imagine if it did exist. Bro, we need to get into the business of making quacky machines. But anyway, let's continue the video. 10 minutes and 10?
Yeah, we will touch on the weapon. That was a horrible, believe me, horrible case. We'll touch on that in a minute. West Memphis 3, Satanic Panic. I did watch a video on them a bit ago. And Lightning says I did a video on them. Good. I'll definitely watch it. If you've done a video, hook me up with the link because I've been following that case since the documentary came out. When the documentary came out, I was a kid. And imagine me being a kid watching this documentary on HBO and seeing what I saw in the first 20 minutes of that. It scarred me for life. But when I found the documentary when I got older, I was totally fucking dedicated to all of that. I even gave money. Like, I'm serious about it. But, okay, the video, the ABC News one, we're going to start it 10 minutes and 9 seconds, and starting it now.
Who now says he's become an important part of the war.
You're good, Nor. Be safe.
More than $1 million worth of his machines to the U.S. military. Military officials confirmed to prime time the machines were in use.
The military is no longer allowed to use waterboarding, but they can use this.
Well, they stopped.
You would not use it?
Oh, they did stop in the military using it?
Deputy Undersecretary of Defense for Counterintelligence Robert Rogalski says the Pentagon ordered an exhaustive scientific study, the results being made public here tonight, which found little or no relationship between the CVSA readings and the actual presence or absence
41%
and stress.
We feel we need a greater reliability than just, as the report indicated, chance. In other words, flipping a coin.
Rogalski says the failure to find the truth could put the lives of American soldiers at risk in Iraq. He was alarmed to hear about a document from Humble's company, boasting that one of its employees had used the machine in Baghdad to free a number of suspected terrorists.
It's very
Holy shit.
How truthful was that result? And
so our police are using it, but not our military. Let that soak in.
Maybe 8 or 10 people were
well, they don't care if you get thrown in jail.
So you just don't trust.
But I'm just saying.
That's correct.
It makes no sense. If the military doesn't trust it, why the fuck should the police?
The Pentagon study is just another flawed scientific test, and that his business has never been better.
You sell this with a clean conscience.
Yes, I do.
Idiot.
It's now
Still
8
sells
years
it for a
since
clear
Microprobe
conscience.
failed his
He makes
test
money.
on
He
Dr.
sleeps on
Humble's machine.
a bed
He's
made
still
of
trying to
ones.
get past the experience of being accused of his sister's murder and locked up for 9 months for a crime he did not commit.
It's horrible.
It's a scare tactic, but it's an expensive one, and it's unfortunate that you have police officers who believe in it. Who knows how many mistakes?
Look at how stressed he is.
Yeah.
Now, you might think that people who make false confessions aren't that smart. Maybe they have low IQs. But is that the case? We took our hidden cameras to Williams College, one of the top liberal arts schools in the country.
It's so refreshing to see, like, him actually doing investigative reporting.
Right?
This was like years ago.
He looks so fucking young.
Look like an interrogation room.
Instead of being like a propagandist for his brother.
Right. Walls and hot.
He's still not on CNN anymore, is he?
No, I don't
yeah.
These freshmen think they're being tested on how fast.
Because they never said he was fired. They just said he's on the leave.
Yeah, so just so you know, they're being tested if they're going to do a false confession.
If they will falsely confess. Here is the ruse.
You see the Alt key next to the space bar?
Yes.
Whatever you guys do, don't hit that key. Because there's some kind of quirk in the program and it could really mess things up. Okay. Okay. 3, 2, 1.
But it won't crash the computer at all. The question is, can the instructor and his secret accomplice, the other student in the room, get the subjects to falsely confess to hitting the key?
Whoa, stop, hold on. Did you hit the Alt key? I don't think so.
Let's see how Quinn reacts when he's told he hit the Alt key.
Lost everything or just this bit?
Professor Casson, who designed the experiment, says a false confession is created by two things: an authority figure insisting on guilt, and then lying to a suspect about false evidence connecting them to a crime.
If you look at proven false confessions, in almost every single one of the cases you can find, there was a presentation of false evidence, either by falsely claiming to the suspect that he failed a lie detector test or that the victim's grasp had his hair in it. So we wanted to bring that hypothesis into the laboratory to test whether or not the presence of false evidence increases the false confession rate.
So first, the instructor, an authority figure to a student, tells Quinn he did something wrong. Now watch what happens when the accomplice lies, supplying the false evidence.
Did you see anything?
It looked like he hit it with the side of his finger.
Oh.
Quinn never resists.
Sorry.
The confession is written out, and Quinn signs
See?
it.
Hi, my name is Saul Casson.
So they got this college kid to admit that he did something he didn't do.
You did break in. Okay. Okay.
That's a relief and a reality check for Quinn.
Now stop it for a moment. We can stop it.
Okay. And
so imagine this now.
Aye.
You are a 14-year-old kid in a room. You're being claimed that there's a secret technology that can read your circumstances. You know you didn't do it, but you've been trapped in this room, being interrogated by these people. You're away from your parents. You're away from everyone else, a lawyer. You don't know your rights because you're 14 years old. And then you basically are being pushed and lied to about this whole situation. And basically it caused the kid to confess. And it causes even full-grown adults to confess the crimes they haven't committed. And a lot of times juries will accept a confession more than DNA evidence at times. So a confession is looked up as more evidence than actual DNA evidence in cases. So this is why they push it a lot of times. Now, there's another video, we can go to the next one, which is called Chris McDonough and Michael Crow interview. So this Chris McDonough guy is actually a YouTuber, by the way.
You just sent it to me. Okay.
Yeah, I just sent it to you. And he's a YouTuber, and let's just say his channel's called, what is it? Crime Image. I'm trying to find it one moment. The Interview Room. That's his channel, The Interview Room.
Okay.
So,
let me catch up with the comments. Seal. Yeah, Red Rocket. I mean, that is true, but when I think of things like that, I kind of you blame the system, don't blame the migrants. Do you get what I'm saying? Because really, for every one homeless person, there's literally 5 houses that are up for sale or apartments that nobody lives in because nobody can pay the rent for them. It's too high, too much money. So think about that. We could fix our homeless problem if we, if we wanted to, we could fix our homeless problem, is what I'm saying.
it's also regional. It's like horrible in California, New York.
Oh, yeah. New York's the fucking worst, believe me.
No, California's worse, but that's a side
Well,
thing.
my friend's in California trying to get to New York, and I'm kind of like, it's ridiculous. They ask you for your soul and your firstborn.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. Well, let's go to the next
yes,
one.
okay,
So, this is Chris McDonough. He was one of the detectives that actually forced this 14-year-old kid to confess to a crime he did not commit. So let's play it, and you can actually see him in his early days.
And this video is provided from us by Crime Talk with Terry. So thank you, ma'am, for this video. And
An old video. Yeah, but she didn't make it. It was NBC or something like that. She just
for re-uploading. Thank you for re-uploading it.
Yeah.
Okay, and we're at 00, and we're pressing play now.
Welcome to the Rick Roberts Show. On the same day the case is dismissed, Detective Chris McDonough calls into this radio show to defend his role in the interrogation process.
I did not wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and sit down and say, you know what, today's the day I'm going to plant and frame Joshua Treadway for murder.
Okay, this is Joshua Treadway.
Yeah, it was one of the two friends.
Oh, okay.
And secondarily,
they falsely accused 3 kids.
Jesus Christ.
If I may finish. Secondarily, on top of that, videotape.
Ooh, he's being snappy.
It's ridiculous. I am in a job to bring justice to that family, but I'm also in a job to bring justice.
That's the father.
Wait, I'm gonna press pause. I'm gonna press pause real quick. Is this? Did he do this interview before they found the actual killer or after? Because he's being way too cocky for...
After.
Okay, then you're a fucking moron. They need to take your badge away.
Well, he retired for other reasons, and now he's a YouTuber.
Oh, fucking great. I love you. I love YouTube, but some of the people...
He has 103,000 subscribers, and he fucks up cases on a daily basis. Oh my god.
How is it the horrible people have so many numbers? I'll never understand. And there's amazing YouTube channels that do amazing content. And I saw one channel, it was an amazing channel, did gaming content, and it had like 15 people following them. I'm like, why? I followed them. Because they were good.
Well, yeah, but it's just basically like, usually it's just getting your name out there. And I think depends who you stream with. I mean, it's really just getting your channel out there. You can have the best content in the world, but then if people don't know about you, people don't know about you. I mean, for instance, Polish Girl, this amazing Jim Terry video, which I'm going to pull up and throw in the chat because she just made fun of Jim Terry again. And you know what? I love.
Oh, I'll watch that on my free time.
Yeah, I mean, I'll throw it in a chat.
Yeah.
But she has only 80 subs.
He cleared M. Crow in the murder of the 9-year-old that other detective falsely. So not only was he accused of killing his sister, but also a 9-year-old? Is that what I'm getting?
Yeah, I don't know about that case.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but I can see them doing it. I mean...
I've heard he had a lot of problems. And even on YouTube, he did something with Seven Wells and all. It's just... I heard him hanging out with Doug from No Thanks on a panel.
So he's one of those.
Yeah, and it was during the time Doug told some woman to suck him off or something on the stream.
Lord, that's so tacky.
So I mean, that's what I meant. It would be I would have to do way too much research to figure that out. But yeah, it's some crazy shit.
No, this guy is a Treadway. What does that mean? What does Treadway mean?
Don't know.
I have no idea what that means, but there's the link right there for y'all. Thank you.
If you want to watch a video about making fun of Jim Terry, that's Polish Girl. If you want to watch her,
definitely gonna put it in my favorites. Shout out to Polish Girl.
Because in that one he said that Kylie, that's the thing where he said Kylie was a whore and the parents should be shot.
Jim Terry said that.
Yeah.
Okay, I was getting confused because when you told me the first time.
Jim Terry's
I thought it was Upchurch, and I was like, "What the fuck is going on?" Because I get them so confused. Blyle knows what's going on YouTube. I know what's going on Facebook, and we work wonderfully together. Unless I got my cases confused. No idea, but we'll look into it. Since we don't know about the 9-year-old that much, we're just gonna stick to his 12-year-old sister.
Are you questioning our authorities as doctors? Bushes, I'm
a doctor. How dare you?
How dare you, Bushes?
We're playing.
We're doctors,
We're horrible. Fucking horrible. Okay, we're going to continue the video.
So that's the father of the murdered girl. That's the picture you see, the guy with the mustache. Of the murdered 12-year-old.
I should grow a mustache.
And the father of the 14-year-old that was falsely accused and put in jail for 9 months with 2 of his friends.
This is making me want to grow my mustache out a lot more. I usually keep my beard thicker than my mustache, and it's making me want to go full 1980s.
Honestly, if you grow that mustache,
and get dude,
oh, you're breaking up, bro.
No, dude, I can grow the mustache and get aviator glasses, and just wear a polo shirt, and I can be one of those 80s dads. With the beer gut, wearing a baseball cap.
Hair. It says lack of doe hair, wool sweater, dog hair.
Lack of dog hair on a wool sweater. Yeah.
I was like, what the hell?
Exactly.
Anyway, let's continue the video. Let's continue
42 seconds in, and we're pressing play now.
The perpetrator.
Do you think those detectives crossed the line in those moments?
Yep.
Doing what you're not supposed to in an interrogation.
I don't think it was an intentional thing on their part. Never confessed. He just gave the police what he thought they wanted to hear.
I think the Escondido Police Department acted within the scope of their responsibilities, absolutely.
Though he wasn't there for the most grueling part of the interrogation,
remember when TVs
Chris
used to look
McDonough
like that?
sees things differently.
Yeah. I think not being there, so I don't know what they were thinking, so I'm not going to, guess.
Before giving the truth verification test, Detective McDonough actually works together with Michael to formulate the questions.
What are some things we want to learn here, do you think?
If I know who did it, if I did it.
Okay, well, let's do that then. Do you know who, let's say, took Stephanie's life?
Ooh.
Okay,
That's
would that be a good, fair question?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know who took? Do you know how she died? No.
Soon the test questions are
These are
agreed
the
upon,
questions he's
and McDonough
formulated.
asks Michael to sign a form declaring he's about to take the test voluntarily.
Though he wasn't
Where are
there
the
for the
fucking
most grueling
parents?
part of the interrogation,
Yeah.
Chris McDonough sees things differently.
Can't they get in trouble for not having the parents there? They're minors.
Yeah.
I think not being there, so I don't know what they were thinking, so I'm not going to, guess.
So Michael's interrogation continues.
This is
All
Michael,
the while, his parents assume he's being looked
Yeah, this is
after
Michael Crow.
at children's
Yeah,
shelter,
the other kid
unaware
beforehand was
he is
his
in
Stop
police
it.
custody.
Stop
They
it.
just
Stop
kept
it. Just rewind it, because I think you talked over that part. You
No,
were talking about
okay,
where they were.
going back, we're at 2 minutes and 11 seconds. Yeah, that's Michael Crow there, but the kid before this was his friend, because they interrogated him and 2 of his friends.
Yeah, and they put them all 3 in jail for 9 months.
Yeah.
While the real killer was, who was also, by the way, a sex offender and a meth head. And he's outside now. He's running around. He's just, because they fucked up that case. Just a spoiler alert, the guy, the twit guy, he basically, they found that he had blood on him. He got manslaughter. He got like 7 years. He was supposed to get 13 years, but 7 years later, he got he got the conviction overturned, and he got to walk out scot-free. And he's like a registered sex offender before that because he was stalking girls. And now he's gone to jail again for doing meth.
No, Bushes, you're fine. Don't ever apologize. I don't mind.
You can ask any questions.
You can ask anything. Hi, I'm gonna listen from the beginning. Hey, Minx, I hope you hear us say hey. But she's listening to us from the beginning, so whatever comments that she makes, it's from the beginning. We have to remember.
Okay, we'll answer any question that she has even in the beginning. You can read it out. No problem.
And the parents won their lawsuit. Good. I would fucking sue. Well, first off, me being a self-aware, if it was my kid and they're being questioned and my kid's a minor, I'm gonna be like, why are you shutting that door? I'm going in there.
The settlement was for $7.25 million she won. So the settlement has been reached in the high-profile 1998 Stephanie Crow case, murder case. The Crow family, whose son was falsely accused of Escondado police.
Oh, we do have it. I got it right here. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, $7.25 million. So the Crow settlement follows a related settlement earlier the month by the family of Aaron Hauser for about $4 million, according to the source with knowledge of the case. Hauser was also falsely accused of Stephanie's murder. The money was paid by the city's insurance carrier, not from the taxpayers' fund. So basically the money, your tax dollars is going to good places because the cops are incompetent.
They said not from taxpayers' funds.
Yeah, it said money was paid from insurance carrier. So who do you think they paid to get insurance?
Oh, we as taxpayers pay the insurance for the police department and such. So
Ding.
therefore, you paid if you're in this state.
And you think their premiums didn't go up?
It's just so sad.
You know what I mean?
But you know what the thing is though? They lost a daughter. Really horrible, and I'm sorry. They got the right man. There's some justice there.
He only did 7 years.
Well, yeah, but I bet you they fucked up there. We're gonna get to that part too. Don't worry. But their son is set for life.
I think that's probably going to be enough to cover the psychiatrists, because you literally were accused of killing your sister, interrogated for 27 hours, thrown in jail for 9 months, and then basically
he's not going to go through almost $8 million. He's not going to go through $8 million, almost $8 million in therapy, Belial. When you can get BetterHelp. And if anybody's suffering out there and wants someone to talk to, please download BetterHelp. I am not a spokesperson, but it's great. And you could pay $50 a month to talk to a licensed therapist.
That sounded like a spokesperson to me.
It's a spokesperson. I'm trying to get it. I'm trying.
Is this the whole idea of the screen where we were trying to get people to sign up for BetterHelp? Oh Jesus! Let's continue the video.
Y'all found us out. Okay. Okay, we're back at the video at the Chris McDonough and Michael Crow interview were at 2 minutes and 11 seconds. I did rewind it 20 seconds. So are you set to 11?
Yep.
Okay, pressing play now.
So Michael's interrogation continues. All the while, his parents assume he's being looked after at a children's shelter, unaware he is in police custody.
They just kept grilling and grilling and
So
grilling.
the parents didn't
to
know.
think that we were at home, not even knowing he was near the police station. If we would have known, we would have been there.
Now, however, Michael seems almost relieved to be cooperating and submits readily to the voice stress analyzer.
Though he wasn't there for the most grueling part of the
And we went through that
interrogation,
quacky
Chris
shit.
McDonough sees things differently.
Are you sitting down? Do you know who took Stephanie's life?
No.
Is today Thursday?
Yes.
Did you take Stephanie's life?
No.
8 minutes later, the truth exam is complete.
Though he wasn't there for the most grueling part of the interrogations, Chris McDonough sees things differently.
Go over these charts and I'll be back here in a couple minutes, okay?
When we come back, what will the voice stress exam reveal?
It's a piece of
It is
shit.
4 p.m. Thursday, January 22nd, 1998, and 14-year-old Michael Crow of Escondido, California, is in the midst of a 4-hour interrogation at police headquarters without an attorney or his parents present. His younger sister Stephanie was found murdered at home the day before, and investigators suspect Michael may be involved. He has just completed a voice stress exam. Now, Detective Chris McDonough returns with the results.
I think not being there, so I don't know what they were thinking, so I'm not going to, guess.
Chris McDonough, they're
What did
holding
you
you to
think?
those words.
What were your thoughts through the whole thing?
That's Chris McDonough, by the way.
Nervous? Nervous? Okay, let's go over that. What are you nervous about?
I don't know, that
It's
it might
14
be wrong.
in an interrogation.
Okay,
What
in
the
what
fuck do you
way?
think he's nervous about?
It might say I did kill Stephanie.
Okay, and why would it say that?
I don't know. Everyone's already treating me like that.
And I can understand your feelings there, okay? I mean, you're 14 and you've been through a lot, okay? But this instrument doesn't know you, does it? Science is in our favor. Okay,
good
technology's on our side. Okay? I mean, can you understand that?
The detective shows Michael the charts of his performance on the so-called truth exam. They indicate he lied when he answered no to question 12, do you know who took Stephanie's life?
Maybe there's...
Though he wasn't there for the most grueling part of the interrogations,
This
Chris
person's
McDonough
really clipping him in all constantly.
something we need to understand about Michael and about your sister that we didn't understand and maybe somebody could have helped. It's okay. It's okay to feel the way you feel. Okay, but
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know why I'd say
He's
that.
using the read technique, by the way.
I swear to God, I don't know.
But the police think they know. Their theory on this second day of the investigation is that a very smart, very lonely, and very angry Michael Crow stabbed his sister to death. His likely motive, a rage-fueled case of sibling rivalry.
Though he wasn't there for the most grueling part of the interrogations, Chris McDonough sees
I think
things
he was
differently.
there for the grueling part of the interrogation.
And inside, you're about ready to burst. We can't bring her back. She's gone. Okay? You're fighting it. You're
I don't know what to do anymore.
I understand.
Now I'm being told that I'm lying.
I'm not saying, Michael, I'm not saying that. Have you heard me say that? What if they come back and say to you, Michael, we have your hair.
Though he wasn't there for the most
He lied.
grueling part of the
They didn't have his
interrogations,
hair.
Chris McDonough sees things differently.
Lied.
They say, Michael, we have your hair in her hand. And all of a sudden, you go, now what? I mean, what are you going to do at that point? I mean,
At that
hypothetically.
point, I would have to have completely blanked out and did it without knowing it. Because I don't know.
Okay. Hypothetically.
Now he's saying hypothetically.
Could that have happened?
No, not that I know of.
Not that you know of.
Like I said, I would have to be completely unaware of it.
Okay. Have you ever blacked out before?
No, never.
Okay, I believe you. I blame him.
If I knew who did it, you would know. Everyone would know right now.
Okay, why?
Because whoever did it, if I ever find out, I'll hate them forever. I loved her. I loved her deeply.
Soon after, Michael Crow once again is left alone.
I'm just so angry.
Yeah.
Though he wasn't there for the most grueling part of the interrogations, Chris McDonough...
Okay, you can stop it. So we assumed that he was there for the grueling part of the interrogation. That was one thing.
Oh, yeah.
But the point is that you saw the read technique being used, basically. You saw the, the bullshit lies being used by the cops, because they can lie to you. That's one of their tactics they can do. And they used pseudo-fake science to support them, and they got this kid to basically make a false confession. Now, what's the video? What's the next one? So you might be wondering, what happened to the real killer? What happened to the real guy that murdered this girl
Hey, BC. Sorry.
Hi, BC. Who basically walked away scot-free. I mean, so now I think the last trial I saw of him, let me read the acquittal. Richard Twitt, a man famously acquitted in the murder of Stephanie Crow, appears in court in felony charges. What's the felony charges? Well, he's got them. What's that? San Diego, Richard Twitt, who was known for being acquitted in 1988, stabbing death of a 12-year-old Stephanie Crow, was once again trouble with the law. Twitt, age 50, pleaded not guilty in court Friday to a single felony county of being an ex-convict in jail property at the Central Jail downtown. The convicted of the felony count and prior to strike on his record, Twitt faces a maximum of 6 years in prison, and he's being held for $20,000 in bail. Twitt was acquitted in 2013 of voluntary manslaughter charge after second trial. He was convicted of the same charge in 2004, but federal appeals court in 2011 ruled that Twitt didn't get a fair trial because the judge limited cross-examination of prosecution witness. Twitt's original sentence was 13 years in prison for the manslaughter count and 4 years and 4 years and 4 months behind bars for escaping from custody at a downtown courthouse and offering a deputy $24,000 to help him escape. So how did they catch him? Basically, he was wandering around the town, being homeless, looking homeless, but he had blood on his clothes of the girl. And let's continue. Before Twitt was prosecuted, Stephanie's brother Michael Crow and friends Joshua Treadwell, Aaron Hauser were accused of her murder, and police extracted confessions. However, the admissions were later ruled to have been coerced by Escondido police and an assisting Oceanside officer under harsh interrogation tactics. The case against the boys was dismissed on the eve of their trial when a new DNA test showed spots of Stephanie's blood on the 2 shirts of Twitt, who was wearing on the night of the murder. Michael Crow, Treddy, and Hauser testified during Twitt's retrial that they had no involvement in Stephanie's murder. Twitt was in the area of the Crow residence the night of Stephanie and was stabbed to death. The night Stephanie was stabbed to death, looking for a woman named Tracy. The prosecutors theorized that Twitt wandered into Crow's home and killed Stephanie. Jurors who voted to acquit Twitt and said they believed the defense theory of contamination, that the blood from the crime scene somehow was transferred onto Twitt clothing. Twitt was also a registered sex offender, stemming from a misdemeanor conviction in 1999 of harassing 2 teenage girls on a bus. Court records show he was in charge twice last year with misdemeanor counts and failing to register as a sex offender. So 1998, he murders a girl. They have the wrong guy, and this guy is harassing and 2 teenage girls. My guess is he was planning on probably doing the same thing to the 2 teenage girls and murdering them, but eventually they caught him, they put him in jail, and guess what? Because they're shitty court. I mean, I don't know how he got only 13 years when he went in there and killed a 12-year-old girl, but I guess they fucked up that case so much they gave him a good deal.
Which is horrible. Because there's really no justice at the end.
Yeah, so now he's the only justice, the only time he's actually facing jail time now is that he does, I think this is the video where it shows that he's let me just pull it up. Where he's being prosecuted for having meth.
And how much time did he get for meth?
We will see, because it was 2020. Here, I'll show. Here's the video. You can just show it to them. It's like a 1 minute and 56-second video.
Okay, pressing play now.
New at 7 o'clock, the man acquitted for the brutal murder of 12-year-old Stephanie Crow is free again, despite facing new felony charges for a different crime. As 10 News reporter Michael Chen explains, the difference between jail and freedom for Richard Tuitt may come down to 2 days.
We last saw Richard Tuitt in January in a courtroom
Judge, I was on my way to the FBI office.
as he pleaded not guilty to a felony count of trespassing on prison grounds as a felon. At that time, his bail set at $20,000. Fast forward to Thursday, a judge setting him free over the objections of prosecutors as part of the state's zero bail policy to release low-level offenders during the pandemic. A policy set to end starting Saturday. Tuitt's sister told 10 News, "I'm absolutely pleased. He is not a danger to anyone." Tuitt is no stranger to headlines. Following the 1998 stabbing death of Stephanie Crow at her Escondido home, Tuitt, a homeless sex offender, was convicted of voluntary manslaughter in 2004. Before he was prosecuted, Crow's brother and 2 friends were accused of the murder, but the confessions were ruled to have been coerced. Tuitt was arrested after DNA testing showed spots of Stephanie's blood on Tuitt's shirts. During jury selection, Tuitt slipped out of his cuffs and out of the courthouse, but was recaptured hours later. 7 years after his conviction, an appellate court tossed it out, ruling a judge unfairly limited the cross-examination of a witness. Tuitt was acquitted in a second trial after the defense argued the blood from the crime scene was transferred to Tuitt's shirts. Another 7 years later, he's once again in legal trouble, but he'll await his day in court as a free man.
So I just want to put that out there.
They used that whole thing, the blood transfer thing, with the whole Making a Murderer. Have you seen that documentary?
No, I think I saw it, but I forgot about a lot of it.
It's on Netflix. I mean, it's popular and it does pertain to what we're talking about. But yeah, that whole there's no way he did it.
Yeah, I just wanted to leave that out there. Like, oh, so he only got 7 years, and because of the no bail policy, because of COVID, he was able to walk out of jail. A fucking registered sex offender, a guy who probably I'm you know me, I don't accuse people of murder. But I'm pretty sure, like 99.9% sure he did it.
Yeah.
And he's a meth head. So great system we have here. We convict innocent children of crimes because of pseudoscience, bullshit, tactic, and lack of understanding of actual fucking understanding of personalities and body language. And we let people who are literal children murderers and meth heads go and run around. Fantastic. I love the system. We definitely don't live in
let's be real. He's sick. We're not get okay. Let's rewind for a little bit. Just because he does meth doesn't mean he's a killer. But I'm just saying he has a lot against him. He did the fucking murder. He killed this child.
Well, I think there's people
in jail with drug charges that have been in jail longer than him.
Wait. Let me just make it better, just so people understand. You are saying the meth has nothing to do with him being a sex offender and a child murderer. You're saying that he does meth just as an add-on, and we shouldn't go against that meth has
because I know a lot of meth heads that are peaceful.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to make it sound better because it sounded like hey, he's not sick. I'm just trying to say Tony is not saying that he's saying that meth does not make you a child killer and a rapist or stuff like that. But I will say, do not do meth.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Obviously, meth is a very bad drug, and I do not support people doing meth.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm using that as a prerequisite to that this guy is a meth head, a child murderer, and a sex offender. These are very bad things. This man should be pushed down probably a freaking volcano and burnt to death in the volcano.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think so basically that's the situation. What's the next case you want to talk about? Don't do meth. See, Bush's is
yes. Don't do meth. Don't do meth. It kind of reminds me of not only Steve Avery and that whole entire thing. It was Steve Avery. If anybody knows Making a Murderer, Steve Avery went into jail. Okay. Originally under a rape and almost murder. Like, this woman got beaten and she got raped at a beach where Steve Avery lived close to, okay? Mm-hmm. So the woman who got beaten horribly on the brink of death, thank God they found her and she's, recovering and alive, had a lineup of people to choose from. And they threw in this guy, Steve Avery. And Steve Avery was out there. He has a very low IQ. He's a country, bumpkin. He, yeehaw kind of guy.
That's hee-haw, right?
Yeah, hee-haw. And he had some things wrong with him, obviously. But the woman picked out Steve Avery for this. Mind you, Steve Avery wasn't even around that area during that time, and he did have an alibi. But the police were, obviously aware of Steve Avery because he has, run in with the laws. And they automatically think that Steve Avery did this. They automatically did. They got a false confession from him. He spent about... Oh, God. He spent 11 years in prison, I want to say. I'm not too sure on the number. I know people can correct me on that. He spent a long time in there. So,
yeah.
But they got him out because it wasn't him. Even the woman who was raped and beaten goes, even she was persuaded to pick him. So he got out. He got his charges cleared. He got a large sum of money, and then this is where season 2 comes from. Mind you, this isn't a show. This is a documentary. So this is actually happening.
You want to show a picture of him so people know who you're talking about?
Yeah, I'll go here. Steve Avery. I wonder if I spelled that right.
Yeah, it's Avery.
Yes, this is Steve Avery, and I'm going to go to his Wikipedia because I think that's best. So he gets... Oh, it's not showing a picture. His picture's everywhere. But Steve Avery got out of prison. He just fucking got out. Rightfully so, a lot of people think. I'm a little on the Steve Avery thing because what comes next and later in the show, in the documentary, is that Steve Avery is now again in prison for murder and taking a body apart and sexual things happen. But not only is he in prison for this, but he also got his nephew, who, mind you, is a lot slower than Steve himself. I think his name is Brandon. I'm not too sure. Again, y'all can correct me on this. They're in prison for this woman that was found. I should have said this in the beginning. Steve Avery's family for generations owned a chop shop. It's basically where you bring your cars in and, they strip it from copper, metals and stuff. They sell it and they do what they please with it. And the woman was going to sell her car to Steve Avery. That's what they say. And Steve Avery conducted this plan. I'm doing quotations because nobody knows the truth now. Conducted this plan to not only kidnap her, torture her, kill her, disembody her, and there could be sexual allegations with that. But also his nephew was in on it as well. Mm-hmm. So now they're both in prison, and I do know for a fact that the false accusation, I think they're in New York actually, they help with children who are falsely accused by false confessions get out of prison and get clean records. That's what they, do. And I know they're working with, I think his name is Brandon, and leading much, I don't know, legal chop shop. Junkyard, yeah. Legal chop shop. You're right. Correction. Yes, it's a junkyard. Chop shop is illegal. But yeah, he owns that. And even in the second season, he has a lawyer, and Stevie, they found her blood in his bathroom, mind you. In his trailer. They found the blood, and Steve Avery's whole thing is the cops planted that blood. Because he thought the cops were after him because he got like X million dollars. I don't know how much he got from the state for this. But I'm sitting back. I mean, I guess it's per opinion. There's people that are like, he didn't do it. And then there's people that are like, he did do it. And I'm sitting here going, okay, I can understand him getting away with the first thing.
He got $36 million.
So he got buku money. But he really didn't now because he's in jail now. I don't know who gets that money. I don't believe he did the first thing because there was people out to get him. There was a false confession. But there's just so much evidence on him.
I'm sorry. I'm wrong. I'm reading all. Stephen Avery, Montague County, have settled Avery's $36 million civil lawsuit against the county and former officials, and the suit has been dismissed. Attorney Roy Pollan, who represents the former sheriff Thomas Kuraki, or whatever the fuck is his name, said that Avery and his attorneys, Walter Kelly and Stephen Glenn, have agreed to dismiss the claims against the county in return for $400,000. So, and then Pollan said that the county insurers agreed to the settlement to buy finality, and he said that the county's officials acknowledged no wrongdoing in the deal. The DNA signs that exonerated Avery in 2003 after he spent 18 years in prison didn't exist when he convicted Pollan.
So Avery he was there for 18 years. Okay, I stand corrected. I thought it was like 11 or something, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Avery of the Royal Musket is jailed in Calumet County. He awaits a trial on September 5th on homicide-related charges on October 31st, disappearance of death of Teresa Hellback, a 25-year-old freelance photographer from St. John's, Calumet County. Glenn Meraki, who represents Avery in the federal civil case, and Avery needs bail money in the homicide case and wants to hire a private attorney. So, yeah, so it was $400,000.
Which is really nothing. But to him, that was probably a lot because they did live in that kind of sector of in the middle of nowhere. Everybody knew everybody, and the Averys did have a name in their town of being like, oh, it's a fucking Avery. You know what I mean? Like, oh, Avery did it. Like, if anything bad was going to happen, they blamed the Averys. They had, like, the stigma to them, and I don't know really why. I have to rewatch the documentary. But I do, you know, the first part of the documentary, you're going, okay, he was falsely accused. The second part, though, I don't know. I'm waiting for a third part. It's been a couple years, so there isn't like a third part.
So, you think but how did he make his false confession? That's all I'm just wondering.
They persuaded him into it, and it wasn't only them taking advantage of his ignorance, but they were also taking advantage of the other people around them. Oh, also,
was this the 1985 case where he spent 18 years in jail?
Yes, that one. Okay. That first case. This case, I think he got out of prison, and 2 years later, then the murder happened. But with his nephew, Brandon, his IQ is a lot lower. Now, do I think Steve Avery did the murder? Absolutely. Do I think Brandon was in on it? Absolutely not. I don't think his nephew was in on it, but they got the nephew to make a false confession with, you know, promising this and, you know, oh, you
Which
can
you're not
get out of
supposed
here.
to do.
Yeah.
But it's part of like the interrogation tactic. You're not supposed to make promises.
Yeah.
For instance, like the if you haven't heard in the beginning, the police officers use the Reed technique. And one of the criticisms of it is like false confessions, which critics argue that the various features of the Reed interrogation method may lead certain innocent suspects to confess. For example, one critical argument that the guilt presumptive nature of the Reed method creates a slippery slope for innocent suspects because it may set in motion a sequence of reciprocal observations and reactions between the suspect and interrogator that serves to confirm the interrogation's belief in the suspect's guilt. According to some critics of the Reed techniques, aspects of the Reed style interrogations that may lead to false confessions include misclassification. Like you saw that with that kid where he says, oh, it might have been. Like he disregarded the no part, but then he put something, you know, he said this, it might be. The police attribute deception and truthful suspects. 2, coercion, including psychological manipulation. 3, contamination, such as when the police present non-public information to a suspect and the suspect incorporates the information in his or her confession. So, I mean, that basically, Reed is, false confessions are not caused by applicant. See, I'm trying to go by.
Real quick, his name is Brendan Daisy. I thought his last name was Avery, but his mom is Stephen Avery's sister, and he is convicted on convictions: first-degree intentional homicide, second-degree sexual assault, and mutilation of a corpse. He's spending life in prison with eligibility for parole in 2048. I don't think he did it. I don't think he did it. But this is him. This is a picture of him. I believe that Steve Avery did it? My opinion? Yes, my opinion. It's just weird. And my opinion also is, you kind of look at the case and you're going, this woman was not only beaten, but also sexually assaulted, and now she's killed. Most people who are rapists, especially, predators, no matter if it's child predator or adult predator, normally when they do their predator things, and the woman gets away, the first notion in their head is, well, the next woman's not going to get away. Do you get what I'm saying? And most cops, in most situations of a sexual predator, the person, survived, and they don't want the person to survive the second time around. So I'm kind of like, but I don't know.
You're iffy that it's actually a false confession. You're just not sure.
Well, I think Brendan has a false confession. I absolutely do. I think
But Avery, you think is probably guilty of the second murder at least.
Yeah, at least the second murder. But the thing is, though, if he is guilty of the second murder,
there's a possibility that he was guilty of the first and he just got lucky.
Yeah, yeah,
So, I mean, we just saw a guy got exonerated who definitely murdered a girl and
12-year-old. Oh my god.
12-year-old and only got 7 years because they fucked up the case.
Yeah.
So let's go to the next video. Let's go to the next video. It's called Why. It's a former FBI agent breaks down interrogation techniques.
Yes, I got him. Yes, he's already set. I'm at 0-0.
Okay, let me just look it up.
This video is by Wired, so all credit goes to them. And if anybody wants to see the Steve Avery and Brendan Daisy documentary, please go to Netflix. It's there. It's called Making a Murderer. And y'all formulate your own opinions. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get you, man. So this is basically to tell you, like, what the police are doing is wrong, and this is how he does it. This guy is actually, if you read it, former FBI agent and body language expert Joe Navarro breaks down how to approach interrogations during his time with the FBI. Joe sets the record straight. There is no simple way to tell if a human if a human being is lying. When looking for to see, Joe focuses on the subject's discomfort and also does his best to make sure the subject feels comfortable enough to open up. A far cry from the image we see in many police procedurals. So let's play it. That's the description.
Okay. Okay, again from Wired, so give them credit, and we're at 0-0, and we're pressing play now.
So as an FBI agent, one of the things that I would do to make people comfortable was I always made sure that they would sit next to the door. On television, you always see the suspect sitting in the corner of the room. That is third grade interviewing. Graduate level interviewing is you sit them near the door. Why? There's greater psychological comfort there.
Be about making them relaxed instead of like nervous.
My name's Joe Navarro, and for 25 years I was a spy catcher with the FBI, and I am a nonverbal communications expert. So here's the truth about detecting deception or detecting if somebody is lying. There is no Pinocchio effect. It is sheer nonsense to assume that if somebody touches their nose, clears their throat, or touches their ear, that they're being deceptive. And I think this is the first time I'm revealing this on video. What we look for are indicators of discomfort and distress. We're not looking for deception, because there is no single behavior indicative of deception.
It's per person, you would think.
Yeah.
One of my favorite stories that's in my book, What Everybody Is Saying, is of a woman that was invited to the FBI office because she was part of an investigation. And during the first 20 minutes or so that we in the FBI used to calm the person down, this individual, instead of calming down, became even more stressed, and we hadn't even talked about the case. She was biting her lip, she was touching her suprasternal notch, she was clutching at her neck jewelry. A couple of times there she was wringing her hands, and finally I said to her, "Madam, you look like you need to get something off your chest." And she said, "Thank you, Mr. Navarro, because when I parked downstairs I only had 2 tokens for the meter, and the meter's about to run out." So here were all these behaviors that maybe 30 years ago people would have looked at and said, "Oh, this is indicative of deception." I mean, she's touched her nose, she's bit her lip. No, she was worried about getting a ticket because she didn't have enough coins when she parked downstairs. And as it turned,
see, you never know what's on someone's mind.
Yeah, and that's the whole point. Imagine if you hooked her up to this voice stress analyzer while she's nervous about her car, and you asked her, did you murder so-and-so? Did you do this? Did you do that? She would get them all wrong. And then they would press her, and they would say, listen, you can't leave. You know, they would force themselves on the entrance of the door. They would imply that she had to stay for questioning. And you can easily get someone after a while to confess to crimes. It is very, very easy. And this is the problem with a lot of people who are on the internet that watch like behavior. Like the one thing I noticed with like Sammy. I was watching like Sammy Smith, who's basically who was supposedly the friend of Kylie. And a lot of people were like, oh, she's smiling. And it's like, we don't know. She's smiling during the presentation, or she's sucking on her lip. Yeah, we don't know her relaxed state, and we don't know her nervous state. We're looking at maybe this could be easily a nervous tic. Just because some people might be smiling when they get nervous and some people don't. And this is the problem with a lot of pseudoscience online. People just simply Google shit, and they don't actually do research. They claim that they have some sort of authority because they've they got subscribers and they got people watching them, and they don't bother to do research, and they put out the information, and thousands of people start saying, well, I think Sammy got something to do with it because she's smiling. Oh, she's sucking on her lip. His arms are crossed. That's clearly a defensive pose. And they don't even do research. And that's a problem with a lot of people when it comes to police. And it's a lot of people when you see online with a lot of these internet people who have stopped doing research and stopped really doing it. And I'm not saying all channels. I'm saying, the channels I'm talking about, the people who watch. But I would say like a common example would be the channel I discussed earlier with the lady with the lip. You see that a lot, and it's unfortunate. And I think people need to actually maybe watch this video, which is called Former FBI Agent Breaks Down Interrogation Techniques. Maybe buy his book. It wouldn't be a very bad thing for people who are in the crime-solving community to buy a book and read it so that they can be more abreast about, and know about the field that they're in. Especially if you're making hundreds of dollars a night. You would think you would read books to make yourself smarter so you could be more of an authority on this stuff. But instead, most of them are fucking lazy. And I'm not saying the good ones, I know the good ones. Suits Bob's a good one, Savage is a good one, PJ's a good one, Queen Bee's a good one. But like Dolly Vision, I was sitting there with Dolly Vision, he's literally like sitting back smoking pot, and he's just like smiling. It could be her. You want to say a conspiracy theory? Go on. Just make sure you give me a super chat. And he's got his cowboy hat on.
I was trying to find the video of Goodnight Sugar Babe. I know we did a true crime video on Goodnight Sugar Babe, but one of the guys that were in it, when he's being interviewed, he has this nervous twitch of just smiling. Even when he's talking about, if anybody doesn't know this, it's the killing of Vera Joe. He didn't do anything. He wasn't abusive or anything. He witnessed it. Of course, he didn't say anything about it. So he's just, in my eyes, he's just as guilty. But while he was just talking, the whole entire time first time I watched the documentary, I was like, why is he smiling? And come to find out, the director did a whole interview, and it's right here. It's by the Crime Dumpsters. Go listen to their documentary about the murder of Vera Joe. Crime Duster, they're good podcast. And he comes out and he's like, yeah, he had a nervous twitch. He couldn't help it. And because you're like, well, you're talking about a woman that just was stabbed to death on a train track, and he's just smiling. He's like, yeah, he has a nervous twitch. It's, he's a little slow and nervous twitch, but yeah, that's my point.
Yeah, and that's the problem. It's like you need to, number one, you need to see a person in a normal environment, and then you have to see what their tics, what do they do. A good example of it was when this FBI agent looked at a bunch of people and playing poker. And he said, people need to look at the body language or what they do. If, for instance, an example of it was like when someone sometimes puts their hands outwards, puts their hands out, that's like them trying to grab money on top of the cards. But some people will pull their hands back as if they're trying to push away the bad luck or something like that.
Yeah.
Some people have different nervous tics. Like men will grab for their shoulders. Some people will bite their nails. You have to look at the behaviors, and unfortunately, people don't actually research any of this shit.
And everybody's different. That's the thing too. It's like the whole thing with the Dylan Rounds thing. Why isn't the mom crying?
Yeah, why is she not
because other
crying?
moms cry doesn't mean that Dylan Rounds' mom's gonna cry.
Yeah, exactly. It's
She's
very
trying to
a
get
lot.
shit done.
Yeah, there's a lot of people online and in the police force that use pseudoscience and Google to try to figure out murder cases, and surprise, surprise, it doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So let's play the video. We're going to continue
Okay,
playing.
2 minutes and 23 seconds. I'm pressing play now.
Turns out somebody had stolen her ID. She had nothing to do with a crime. Whether we're dealing with the honest or the dishonest, we may see behaviors that are indicative of psychological discomfort. The only thing that we can do is try to determine why we are seeing those behaviors, but not assume that they're indicative of deception, because the science just is not there. One of the things that I would do to make people comfortable was to say, look, I'm an FBI agent, we're conducting an investigation, and obviously you're here for a reason. My tone was always to go lower and slower to make sure that at a subconscious level they began to relax. What we want is someone who is calmer so that we have better recall.
So
Remember,
this guy does the
when we
opposite
create
of all
stress,
police.
we're affecting their memory. And this is why when we have stress, we can't remember where the keys are. So we want the person to calm down, so we put them near the door and we don't sit too close to them, because when we violate space, it makes people nervous. So we back away from them, probably somewhere between 4 and 5 feet away, which is really unusual because on television, we're used to seeing people very up close. And then rather than make a lot of eye contact, which is very intimidating, what I would do is make less eye contact so that they would begin to relax. And then I would do cathartic exhales. So I would look at my notes and do something like this. At a subconscious level, the person listening to me will actually mirror that, because humans gravitate towards homeostasis. Then I begin with very simple things. I would say, tell me about your name. It gives them an opportunity to say, well,
so you don't ask them if they are murderers as your first question?
Now the person
you gotta ease into it, right?
Relating subconsciously to these positive things that have occurred in their life, and they're bringing it forward, which also contributes to psychological comfort.
Okay, let's stop it before we get to 2. So you notice like the complete opposite of what Chris McDonough did. Chris McDonough was basically sitting near him. His questions were not relaxing at all. He asked, did you stab your sister or you kill your sister? He's blocking the door. He's making the kid nervous as can be. He's not relaxing. He's not doing anything proper. Because if he did those things proper, then he couldn't force a confession from him. Tony's surprisingly quiet. He's probably reading something.
No, I'm not reading anything. No, I'm just thinking in my head. I'm just angry. And when I'm this angry, because it's kids. Do you get what I'm saying? 14 years old, 16 years old. Yeah. And this also, mind you, this also happened with John Benet Ramsey's
This happens
brother.
to adults. This happens to adults as well.
Oh, no, it does, but you feel a certain way when it happens to kids. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I think what a lot of people, and it is fascinating. I'm just replying to a comment. It is very fascinating, Red Rock. And, it's something that people should probably learn and understand about these behaviors. I hope maybe one day one of these, some of the people I comment on, like Dottie Vision and Doug and, those guys will actually watch this video and start, thinking for themselves, but... probably not exist. Maybe the police force should be watching this goddamn. They should be that instead of buying a $10,000-$20,000 stupid stress machine. They should have just bought. They should have just bought this guy $20 book and read it. Right. Audio book and just be like, yeah, makes sense. Maybe this will make me a better police officer.
Or
and not
watch this video for free.
Yeah, well, this video is just like a brief synopsis. He has a book that actually goes through, and it has like each section, like legs, eyes, forehead, and talks about in depth about like what is the name of his book, so I could just tell people. to buy the book if they're ever interested. Because he is fascinating. I think I read his book, and it was about interrogations.
And he does have other videos too.
Yeah, so he does like this is Joe Navarro, which is it's Navarro, and it says whatever the body is saying. I think the one that he's talking about is the Dictionary of Body Language, louder than words, big, so I think it would be very good to people to read his book, to be honest with you, especially if you're in a true crime community and you want to like get an actual idea of what people are doing. I mean, you couldn't get it better than an FBI agent that literally is studying body language for like 30 years. So, better than Google.
Mm-hmm.
So let's continue the video.
Okay, pressing play now.
So are there times when we need to create psychological pressure? That is a profound question. I don't recommend it because once you create psychological pressure, we know that it takes anywhere from a half hour to an hour to return that person back to normal or homeostasis. After doing 13,000 interviews, I can tell you, I have never seen where escalating a situation has benefited anyone. What it has done is it has derailed me as an interviewer to the point where I remember there was an espionage interview I was doing on someone that was accused of espionage. And it was a bizarre interview. It was done standing up over 3.5 hours on the loading dock of a lumber yard in Georgia. Myself and the suspect were going back and forth, and I was just getting more and more frustrated. And the man was sticking to the same story. And I was beginning to lose my patience. I had to end the interview because at that point, I wasn't thinking clearly. And as it turns out, this individual did not commit espionage. His repetition of the same story was consistent with what really happened. He didn't do it. And so this was one of those mid-career type situations where it validated that thinking once again that raising your voice, creating stress is not beneficial at all.
Wow, stop it for a moment.
Pressing pause now.
So do you get that? Like now you're learning too, right, Tony? You're like,
yes. I mean, he's doing the complete opposite of what our police do.
Yeah, like we watched literally the most worst interview, and now we're watching a guy who's actually doing the proper interview, and that's the problem. I mean, like a lot of these, we watch TV all the time. They stress out the person. They try to, raise the temperature, have lights, and then they bring in a fucking stress machine and say, well, because you're stressed out, you're lying. It's such bullshit. And it's also a lot of people say, well, we need a lie detector test to see if this person's lying. There's no such thing. As a matter of fact, the guy who invented the lie detector test said that he hated the invention so much it was his Frankenstein because he saw how it was misappropriately being used by the police department at the time. And it was actually throwing innocent people in jail.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, I think it was invented like 1930s or something. I would have to look it up. Let me see. Because I think there's a difference between the lie detector and the polygraph. Lie detector invention.
Oh, I thought it was all the same.
It's like the polygraph measures your sweat, and it was patented in like 1930. So the first polygraph was in 1921. So that was the creator. And when did the polygraph get patented?
Oh, look at this. The Infograph Show put out a thing 2 years ago. I love the Infograph Show. Y'all need to go check them out. The FBI interrogation tactics you can actually use. So that video is something I'm definitely going to watch.
What do you mean, Rock? I'm just trying to figure. Instead of finding facts for truth, he found a theory and made the facts fit his truth. Oh, I get your meaning now. Yeah, that is a problem. A lot of police officers, I get what you mean. A lot of police officers presume the person is guilty and try to fit into it. Just much like a conspirator, like someone who has a conspiracy theory. Like the famous Lee Ryan.
Oh, don't say his name because then all his goons are going to come. Hey, Grandma Sherry. Oh, good. You're in here, Grandma Sherry. Hold on. You stay right there, ma'am.
She's gonna say she's gonna catch the replay, so I guess this will be for her future self.
Wait, hold on. Why can't I? Okay, go ahead, talk while I figure this out. Oh, okay. I got it.
Alright.
There you go, Grandma.
So basically, that is the thing with Ryan. He tried to make a theory, he tried to make his idea and build a case around it. It's kind of building a pyramid upside down.
Mm-hmm.
He had the idea of what happened, and he tried to put all the evidence on top of it, instead of building the evidence on the bottom and then putting the idea on top. And that's what happens with a lot of police officers. It happens with a lot of conspiracy theorist people.
Mm-hmm.
They don't grab the evidence, build the basis of the pyramid, and then slowly build it upwards and have the idea on the top. They just build it upside down. You know what would happen if you build a pyramid upside down? They're not going to build a pyramid upside down.
Yeah.
So I hope that example helps. Hi, Sherry. So let's continue the video.
Okay, pressing play now.
What do you know about those stolen jewels?
Jewels?
When I came into law enforcement in 1975, I was going through the Utah Police Academy, and they were teaching back then that if somebody touched their nose, touched their mouth, or coughed, they were lying. This is sheer and absolute nonsense. And they were teaching this for decades. And even when I entered the FBI in 1979, there were still misconceptions about, well, if somebody asked for a drink of water, or if they look up and to the left and then they look to the right, that they're creating or inventing an answer and so forth. And the fact of the matter is, that is all garbage. There were any number of things that we were falsely told that were indicative of deception, from facial touching to sniffing, rubbing the insides of our mouths with our tongue and so forth. Here's the downside to all of this. I looked at the 261 DNA exonerations that took place over the last few decades. And this was the initial review of these individuals who had been convicted and were sentenced to be executed. And DNA later proved that they had nothing to do with the crime. And here's what's sad. In every single case, not one police officer, not one prosecutor could detect the truth. But they all claim to be able to detect deception. The other thing we found that was interesting from those 261 DNA exonerations, fully 25% was willing to admit to a crime just to stop the interview process. Yeah. That means that those interviews where there was a lot of psychological pressure applied, where it took place over hours and hours and hours, where there was a lot of threatening demeanor, that eventually the people were willing to say, you know what, just to, I'm going to admit
stop it for a moment,
even though it's going to cost.
Stop it. Yeah. Now, if you looked at the room a little bit, they're all enclosed. There is no room for this guy. They're blocking the door. Mm-hmm. They're putting high tension on him, and you're not going to get a truthful response. You're going to be very stressed out.
You know this case.
I know a little bit. Is this
the Brooklyn? No, sorry, it happened in New York. The 5 kids.
Yeah, the 5 kids that were accused of being raping, and then I know that. I knew a little bit of that case. Yeah.
Yeah. The documentary and movie is on Netflix. Both of them are amazing, but sad, horribly sad. These poor kids went away for a while. They're free now, but they should have never been put away.
Yeah, I mean, it's very sad. It's very, very sad. But what else? Let's just continue. I just wanted to point that out. Just now that you know what to look for on a bad interview, guys. Now you know in the future, maybe when you see like an interview like that, you know what to look for. Oh, let's continue the video.
Okay, pressing play.
Cost me my life. 25%. That's frightening. So every time I hear somebody out 25%? There says, I can tell that they're lying from their body language, I just say that's absolute rubbish. There is no science to support it.
All right, Ralph, you want it the hard way. I can fix that too. You've got 20 years staring you right in the face.
What do you want me to say, that I did it?
We're always dealing with the human brain, whether we're dating, whether we're dealing with family members, or even in a forensic interview. I tell the story of this individual in Yuma, Arizona, who immediately came under suspicion. There was a body found, and the person had been stabbed with an ice pick. Now, the only person that knew
Wow.
this was myself and the suspect. We found out that the victim had been in an argument with this individual named Ricky. So, I go and meet with Ricky, and Ricky said I had nothing to do with it. And I said, well, that's fine. I said, well, Ricky, you tell me you didn't kill this gentleman, but if you had, would you have used a machete? And he said, no. I said, okay, would you have used a gun? No. How about an axe? No. And I said, Ricky, would you have used an ice pick? And when I used the word ice pick, which obviously somebody with guilty knowledge would respond to, his eyelids came down and he tucked his chin in. Blocking behavior, protective behavior. So I just looked at him and I said, Ricky, come on. You were seen having an argument with him, and now he's dead. And eventually he confessed. Keep in mind that nonverbal communications per se are not admissible in court. I mean, I could say that the person looked distraught, and defense counsel might ask, well, how would you know that? How long have you known the person? What does distraught look like? And I could say, well, he closed his eyes and he lowered his chin. Mm-hmm. And they could come back and say, well, that's not indicative of anything. But this is how we use nonverbals, to let me know that which only the suspect knew affected him.
Or the best liar.
There's a certain amount of lying that we have to do to get along with each other. So we say that lying is a tool for social survival. And because of that, we're actually pretty good at lying. Most of us lie, the research says, anywhere from 3 to 5 times an hour. I hardly talk to anyone in an hour, so I don't think I find myself lying so much, but I know that if I'm having a bad day and somebody says, hey, how are you? I'll probably say, yeah, I'm okay, when I'm not. I think the most effective liars are the people who habitually lie. One of the best.
I'm gonna pause it real quick. Thank you, Grandma Sherry, for your donation. I truly appreciate that. I want everybody to know, whoever does donate, it does go back into the stream. I don't use it for personal use. It's used for the upgrade of the content on the stream. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I thought we were using all donations so we can create that lying machine, so we can sell it to the government, so we can make millions of dollars.
Your cult, your cult can do that. My cult, we're gonna have cookies.
Yeah, we can sell the cookies with the lie machine. We could say, listen, with every order of our lie, quote unquote, lie detecting machine, which is actually just going to be a Dell laptop from 2000, you get some cookies.
You're gonna taint my cult. What the fuck? I'm having one of those days, y'all. You're gonna taint my cult.
Taint? You're getting a little strangely sexual here. What?
You just turned your head and coughed an hour ago for me.
Listen, I
literally had your balls in my hand for that.
Listen. You were a doctor at that time. And whenever a doctor tells me turn around and cough, I will do so. Just like everyone in this chat. If everyone in this chat says to me, turn and cough right now, I will do it. Because officially, just because like the guy who invented that bullshit stress analyzer, he only had to do 6 hours of Bible study to create his invention and become a doctor, you are all official doctors because you all probably read the Bible more than 6 hours. So,
I mean, look at the chat. They want my cult. Look at that. Cult fun for movie night and cookies. Tim, get your crap cult out of the chat. Laugh out loud. I want cookies. See, the selling point is the cookies.
No one wants the cookies. Screw the cookies.
They just said they want the cookies. And
listen, you guys don't know what...
Then Sleuth Mom says, this is why I have very little friends. Laugh my ass out because I'm typically am considered brutally honest because I just say what I'm thinking. See, I don't understand. If Belial tells me something that's brutally honest, like, you know what, Tony, you really dragged this topic along. You really can't do that. You need to focus on the subject. I'll be like, okay, he's honest. Did it kind of piss me off? Yeah, because I like to talk, but he's right. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm lying right now. But anyway.
I could detect that. I could detect that because you were leaning back in your chair.
He was moving his arms.
Your lips were... No, I'm just playing. But, yeah. Okay, Mike, I guess we're making a cookie cult now.
Yeah, okay. That's gonna be the product line. We're gonna sell cookies. That's how we're gonna fund the channel. Tony's gonna make his very own cookies, zero to manic cookies.
Belial's in the corner in our little temple cult. He's in the corner, pissed off because he doesn't want cookies because they're not vegan cookies, and he's on his laptop typing away making NFTs.
Yeah, what we'll do is for the cookies, we'll make it 50%. So 50% of the cookies will actually be normal cookies, and the other 50% of cookies will have jalapeno, like the hottest red peppers in them.
Oh,
so
you would do that. You would ruin
so you wouldn't know what the zero to manic would be. So that would be like the patent cookies.
You are so evil. I love it. I love it. I fucking love it.
I'm just saying. So let's continue the video.
Because his lips were right.
You know, and then we'll make a special like package of cookies for Sleuth Mom filled with spiders, like chocolate spiders.
You would do that to her? Put spiders in cookies?
I would get the chocolate covered just the spiders. She'd be like,
see, no, in my cult we'll have regular cookies throughout the week, but on Friday we'll have magic cookies. And we'll watch horror movies like
that sounded so creepy.
Did it?
Magic cookies.
They're magic cookies. You know the
cannabis cookies. If you eat these cookies, put the sheet over your head and fly to Zeron or whatever. Just like the suicide.
My name is Tony. No.
All right, let's play the video. Let's finish it off.
Oh shit! Yeah, we're over time. Hold on.
Well, until 9, so I think
we're good. We're good. 12 minutes and 3 seconds, and yeah, spiders, right? Pressing play now.
Best liars I ever ran into was a woman who was a spy. She could tell stories like no one I've ever known. They were so convincing. You would ask her a question and she would just be so fluid in her answers. And of course she's describing something that was taking place in Germany, so it's not something that we could go and check on the next day. And she led us on for about a year. The only thing that we can do to protect ourselves from deception is what is being said and what is the proof.
Yeah.
You begin to make an inquiry.
You work on the
proof. The story begins to
wait a minute.
fall apart, or it causes a cognitive load.
Pausing it.
Wait a minute. You're supposed to have proof? I thought you just speculated and just made up shit and for views.
Yeah, like
Tony.
The other case, the guy was like, "Well, we found your hair on your sister," and there was none.
This changes everything. You mean you can't just like speculate about things and just make shit up, and you have to have proof to back it up?
We're gonna go. Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Holy shit! Oh my god, this changes everything. This changes the future of the internet, honestly.
I mean, people actually have to go out and Google things. How dare they? They should just listen to what we say.
They shouldn't accuse people of being murderers without proof?
Right? It's just, people these days. Well, that's the thing, too. A lot of these YouTubers, their following are sheep. And I don't like that. They look at their followers like sheep or numbers. They're not numbers or sheep. They're people who have their own opinions and personalities.
A lot of the problems is that we have, like in the old days of the news media, you used to get a little bit of news, but it usually got verified. Now you get a lot of news, and you got a lot of YouTubers, and we know the bad ones, especially in the crime community.
Let's not get started.
Yeah, we know the bad ones.
Yeah.
They usually just like, literally, I don't know what the fuck they do all day, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know if they just do their
country music.
No, I'm talking about like, let's say like some crime channels, like they literally do absolutely zero fucking research.
No. I do recommend though, if anybody likes true crime, Stephanie Howell, Georgia, I forgot her last name. She's a British woman, very good. They do their research, and like Kendall Ray, amazing content creators. They do current, and they also do, past stories you might have never heard of.
And you're not going to recommend Sleuth Mom.
Well, Sleuth Mom as well. Obviously, don't do that. You want her in your cult. That's why you said that.
Yeah, you don't want to say PJ. You don't want to say.
Well, Sleuth Mom does more current than
PJ does things. What was very interesting about PJ, she was talking about the Cody Bixby thing.
Yes, that one, Sleuth. Yeah, her. She does really good. I do listen to her. I like Kendall Ray and that other woman, Georgia. I forgot her last name, but she's a British woman, and she does really good too. She did one on Rose and Fred West, and it was just so. And they actually have proof. They have, they show you the proof. They show you the documents. They show you video clips and stuff. It's very well put together. But if you want current events on missing people and stuff like that, go to Sleuth Mom. She's in the chat right now, so click her name and sub to her channel.
Yeah, PJ does do good too. The Vanish, she has
PJ.
Yeah, PJ, but she does good too.
We gotta plug them all in.
Of course, you gotta plug
We have to. No, I'm not being sarcastic in that whatsoever. I mean it. Like they do. I could never do it.
Yeah.
Even though I want to, I'm gonna tell you the truth right now. Monday, I really want to do Making a Murderer. I want to talk about that case. Are you ready? Both seasons are on Netflix. You have to watch them both, Belial.
All right, we'll see. I'll have to check it out because I might be doing.
Everybody in the chat, everybody in the room, if you guys want us to do the case on Steve Avery and Brendan Daisy of Making a Murderer, please press 1. We have cookies. Remember that.
Yeah, I was originally thinking Monday would be the BitBoy guy, which basically is this piece of shit, a crypto trader.
Thank you, Grandma.
Who bamboozled all his people, and then when someone actually, like one YouTuber actually called him out, he proceeded to sue him, and he was making fun of him on Twitter, and he was like, the guy literally had to make a GoFundMe while his wife was dilating, because if he didn't put like the GoFundMe up and get the things filed, he would have like literally lost the case and owed tens of thousands of dollars to this piece of shit called BitBoy. And he had to and then as soon as he got, people got pissed off at him, and they gave like $200,000 to him, and he literally, that piece of shit BitBoy pulled out. So I was thinking about doing a video on that piece of shit, because that guy's a scumbag, that BitBoy.
Oh no, both topics deserve a spotlight in this.
Okay, so people
Hey, Jasmina. Well, we can do Making a Murderer Monday, and then Friday we can do yours. How does that sound?
That's fine.
And also, by the way, y'all, we are gonna start doing 6:30, right?
Yeah, 6:30, so we can finish at 9 or 8 for something, 8:30 something.
Yeah. Hey, Burden.
Hi, Burden.
And again, thank you, Grandma. I really do appreciate your help.
So let's look at the last video we're looking for. FBI agent.
Oh, you don't want. You want me to finish the rest? Okay, we're at...
no, he's just going to talk about the best liars and stuff like that. We don't really need to watch that.
Okay, okay. We don't really have time to talk about the Jesse Miss Kelly thing, but if anybody, it's the same thing. It was a forced confession. Jesse Miss Kelly was either 16 or 17 when it happened. Well, between 15 and 17, I think. But if you guys want to know more about Jesse Miss Kelly, Damian Eccles, and, all the West Memphis 3, on HBO Max, there is all 3 documentaries. They're called Paradise Lost. Y'all can go watch them. And after the first... warning, though, trigger warning. You do see a lot of content, a lot of things you don't want to see in the first documentary. Actually, they found the 3 missing kids while they were filming, so you actually see the kids. So, trigger warning on that. But it's an amazing documentary, only for the fact of how were they in jail for that long? It was insane. They are released now on the Alford plea. So they are released, but the Alford plea means basically like, hey, you did this murder, but we're just going to send you free for time served. So they still have that on their record that they killed these 3 little boys. But if you guys are interested in that, YouTube, but the 3 main documentaries are on HBO. But it's the same concept. He was forced. It's ridiculous. They promised him a truck for his father.
What you're not supposed to do on the Reed method. And if you don't know what the Reed interrogation method is, here's in the chat, just in case if you don't know what it is. I just want to give people...
Hey, Jasmina. I don't know if I said hi.
That's the Reed method. So that's what police officers use for the Reed method.
I'm so glad that you picked this topic. I really am. Belial did a really good job on this one, y'all. He did.
Yeah, well, I like to educate, you know what I mean? Like, we could do drama, but you know what I mean? Like, I like to jump on education, maybe a little drama, education.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We don't
Like,
go looking for drama, but when drama is so highlighted and it's just so
Yeah.
ridiculous, obviously we're going to talk about it. We don't go out
Yeah.
looking for it.
It looks for us, to be honest with you.
Really, it does. It does. We are a gaming/reaction channel. So that means, you know, anybody's content is up to talk about, whether it's good or bad.
Yeah, and we like to just do things that are interesting for us to learn.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, we're not doctors, we're not professionals, we're just
Mm-mm.
normal people on the internet learning. And I always hate the fact that some streamers and YouTubers are like, they try to act like they're like professors and they know everything. And the truth of the matter is that
She knows
we
your
don't.
last name.
Yeah.
Darwinian.
Darwinian, yes.
Yeah.
That is the last name. But anyway, let's go with the video. Let's
Oh,
continue.
which video would you
I
like?
sent it to you. It's
oh,
called former
sorry.
FBI. It says former FBI agent explains how to read body language.
Okay, it's loading up right now. And this is the same guy I'm taking it from The Wire?
Yeah.
Nonverbals are...
Okay, it's loading up.
You ready?
Yes, I'm at 00. It's from Wired, so please, all credit goes to them. And we're pressing play. Oh, no,
Yeah.
sorry. You want to go ahead?
I was going to read the description. Former
Okay.
FBI agent body language expert Joe Navarro breaks down the various ways we communicate non-verbally. What does it mean when we fold our arms? Why do we interface our fingers? Can poker players actually hide their body language? So we already explained what like folding your arms mean. It's basically a
It's from
self-hug,
Wired,
which
so-
is like a comforting thing.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's not really like what people think it is, like guarding yourself, you know, and everyone has different talents. But let's play the video.
Okay. Okay, I did link the video. It is in the chat if you guys want to watch it.
Yeah, it's a video.
And we're pressing play now. Now, oh god damn it. Now.
Nonverbals are anything that communicates but is not a word. The public knows them as body language. How we dress, how we walk, have meaning. And
Oh god,
we
I would
use
love
that
to know my
interpret
meaning of
what's
how I
in the
dress.
mind of the person.
We need to get this guy to see your outfits.
I wear all black all the time.
My name is Joe Navarro, and for 25 years I was a special agent with the FBI. My job was to catch spies. Most of my career I spent within the National Security Division. A lot of it had to do with looking at
When they're
specific
comfortable.
targets,
He's
and
looking
then
at
it
them.
was about, well, how do we get in their heads, and how do we neutralize
I
them?
like his shoes.
Our security is based
Oh yeah, those
on
are like
nonverbal.
$400 shoes.
We
I
look
know,
at the
that's
person
fancy.
through the peephole. We
They're
look
shiny,
at who's
that's why.
behind us at the ATM machine. We know from the research that most of us select our mates based on nonverbal. So we may think we're very sophisticated.
Yes, Grandma
but in
Sherry.
fact,
Watch
we
later,
are
but stay
never
here. Watch it after
in a
the show.
state where we're not transmitting information. There's a lot of myths out there. The ones that stand out is if you cross your arms, that it's a blocking behavior. That's just nonsense. Even when you don't like the person that is in front of you, this isn't to block them out. It's actually to self-soothe. Because in essence, it's a self-hug. When you're sitting
I
at
do
a movie
that a
and
lot.
you're
That's
watching,
weird. I
you're
do
gonna
that a
cross your
lot.
arms. You're waiting for
You're
somebody. You tend
Yeah,
to
I'm
do
doing
this.
it now.
What's interesting is we do this behavior more
You
in
do it mostly
public
in
than
private.
private.
Yeah,
The
I
other
do.
one that really stands out is as we think about something, we may look in a certain way. As we process the information, we may look in another way.
Yeah,
it's certainly
I do
not
that too.
indicative of deception.
This
and
is
it really
creepy.
shouldn't
I don't
be
like
used that
it.
way. All we can say is the person is processing the information. The other misconceptions are that if the person clears their throat, touches their nose, or covers their mouth, they're lying. We do these behaviors.
I constantly
as
play with my beard.
self-soothers. They're pacifying.
How
behaviors.
fucking damaged am I?
Scientifically,
I'm
and
self-hugging,
empirically,
self-soothing.
There's just no Pinocchio effect. And people who prattle that and say, well, we can detect deception because the person touches their nose or covers their mouth, that's just sheer nonsense. We humans are lousy at detecting deception. Espionage work is often nowhere near what we see in movies. And in one of the cases, we had information from another country saying, you have an American we think is actually a mole.
who somehow entered the United States, is able to pass as an American, but he's here working for a hostile intelligence service. And just fortuitously, he was videographed coming out of a flower shop. We're looking at the video, and everybody in our small unit, we were saying, well, there's not much there. You know, he's coming out of the shop, getting in his car. And I said, stop the film right there. Just as he came out of the shop, he took the flowers, and most Americans tend to hold the flowers by the stalk so that the flowers are up. This individual took them and grabbed the stalk and then held the flowers so that they were facing down.
They carry that in Western Europe.
Flowers in Eastern Europe. Rather than confront him about, are you a spy, I decided to do what's called a presumptive. So as I sat there with him, I said, would you like to know how we know? And he had this look on his face, and I said, it was the flowers. And then he confessed.
That was good eye.
When I came into law enforcement, I thought it was all about the confession.
Right,
It's
Rock?
really about
Like, I
face
didn't
time.
even know.
In my 25 years
He's
in the
making
FBI,
sense.
it was a rarity that a person didn't eventually reveal what I needed to know, because we would sit down
Fucking
and
Belial
have these
with the
very
stock
lengthy,
market.
Conversations.
That's going to go crazy soon.
I
too.
look at behaviors to do an assessment. What is
Oh,
this
is that his
person
book? That's his book,
transmitting
y'all.
in relation to any stimuli? My further questioning comes from my observing these behaviors. The first thing I look at is I look at the hair. Does it look healthy? Does it look well groomed? The forehead is very interesting because a lot of times we reveal stress. A lot of the things that we have gone through life are often etched in the forehead. I look at the eyes to see if they're red or not enough sleep. This small area here between the eyes called the glabella, it's one of the first areas that reveals information to us. Most often when we don't like something, we do that bunny nose of I don't like. We don't really know what our lips look like. And we tend to compress them when something bothers us. When something really bothers us, we tend to suck them in. The mandibula, and look at the cheeks. We may do something like this. We'll rub our tongue against the inside of the cheek. But when we try to hide it, then it tells me that this person is trying to do some perception management. And if they are, I want to know why. At the neck, I want to see if there's any head tilt, because head tilt, the person is more relaxed. The minute the head tilt goes away, there's usually some issue. I'm looking at the shoulders. You ask somebody a question and they don't know, both shoulders shoot up very quickly. And then I look at the hands. When something's troubling us, we tend to stiffen our fingers, interlace them, and almost like a teepee,
I don't like this guy.
we move our hands back and forth.
No, I like
very
him. I just,
slowly.
he's on
this
point.
This is to be differentiated from when we do the steeple, which we do in this position. When
You see this a lot with
something's at
cops
issue, we
when
tend
they
to
approach
put our
you.
hands on our hips, and we become very territorial.
Arms akimbo.
This is called arms akimbo. But look how it changes when we put our thumbs forward, and then it becomes one of more of.
That kind of reminded me of Molly. Go
But I
lightly
also
for a
look
moment.
for
She
any
does look like
behaviors
Molly, doesn't
of
she?
Ventilating,
Yeah.
because men tend to ventilate at the neck, and we do at the very instant something bothers us. And then I look at the legs to see if there's any brushing of the legs with the hands, which is, again, to pacify. And then the feet. Do I see
I
any
do that. I do the
behaviors
wiggling
such
and
as
kicking of the feet.
wiggling of the feet, kicking of the feet? If I ask a question and all of a sudden the feet withdraw and are crossed, perhaps the person feels a little threatened by that question. So when we study nonverbals, it's not about making judgments. It's about assessing what is this person transmitting in that moment. It really is looking at an individual and saying, what are they transmitting? We're all transmitting at all times. We choose the clothes that we wear, how we groom ourselves, how we dress, but also how do we carry ourselves.
We're gonna get this guy to judge you.
To the office on this particular day with a lot of energy, or are we coming in with a different sort of pace? And what we look for are differences in behavior down to the minutia of What is this
turtle.
individual's
Good
posture as they're walking down the street? Are they on the inside of the sidewalk, on the outside? Can we see his blink rate? Can we see how often he's looking at his watch?
Whoa, that's the
blink rate is
interviewer.
around eight times a minute.
He's
But you
counting
don't know
the
that.
interviewer's
You're not sitting
blink
there,
rate.
counting. All these things factor in because they're transmitting information.
I'm going to do that to Sleuth Mom.
It's up to
I'm
us
going to do that to a
then
couple of people.
Use that information.
You're going to count how many
to say,
times they
okay,
blink?
We need to
Exactly.
marshal resources
That's going to be my pet
be on
thing
that
I'm going to do.
right now.
Whenever I see a live, I'm going to count the blinks. You're lying if you're blinking more than 10 times.
Body language of people meeting for the first time.
So in most Western cultures, the first time people touch is when they shake hands. Touching becomes that important
I don't
because
like.
we
I
can
don't like
always
shaking
remember
hands.
a time when we
It's
shook
not a
hands
germ
with someone
thing.
and
It's
we
just a
didn't
thing
like that.
I don't under. Can't we just say
It's
hi?
also the first time when our bodies release these bonding chemicals that say, I like this person or I don't like this person. So handshaking is both necessary and essential.
Watch this. It's an amazing part.
Mm-hmm.
Ladies, hi, I'm Joe Navarro.
Joe, I'm Laura.
Laura, how are you? And you are? Khadija, how are you? Let me ask you this. Let's back up a little bit. Is this comfortable for you? Yes. Yeah. It's a little
She's
bit more
photo
comfortable.
iconic, right?
But it's not for you, is it? All right. Thank you. All right. So keep talking. What we've done here is we've talked about the importance of space and comfort. They don't realize is how much further apart they are now standing. And it's because we have brought this subject up to make them comfortable about saying, hey, it's okay to be comfortable at your perfect distance. And so now we see when they rock away from each other and they create this space. If you notice, their feet tend to move around more. There's a dynamic going on here where they're kind of trying to find, well, what is the perfect space? What is the perfect distance? And we know that they're unsettled because of the high degree of movement that's going on.
Pause it.
What'd you think of that part?
It's some things that I would never notice, but I'm glad that an FBI agent notices and downloads it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Sleuth Mom's now training herself not to blink. Rocker. I'm a hugger too. I'm a big hugger. Like, if me and Belial were ever to meet, you better brace yourself for a big bear hug. You better. But that's only like with my friends and family. It's not like that I go up to a perfect stranger and I'm like, give me a hug. You know, that's creepy. Yeah. Grandma Sherry, except when I turned my cam on during PJ's live. Oh, yeah. Was there a cam slip? Was there a cam slip? I'm gonna try and have it on during the Wednesday evening stuff, as long as the kids
see,
are
we're gonna count. We're gonna get to the bottom of Sleuth Mom, but like blinking.
I'm gonna give everybody 5 cents if you can count how many times she has blinked.
You're gonna get 5 cents. Don't be. Don't spend too much.
I know. Well, I am no Jim Terry. I don't have the $500. Was it $500?
$200.
No, he offered
$500.
Yeah, $500 bounty. It was like a.
The guy's now paying. Now the guy's now paying someone to eat butter on his stream. Guy's fucking joke.
You know, I love the internet, but sometimes I sit back and I go, ugh, why do we even have it?
Yeah, I mean, I remember the days where we used to read books and try to learn from books, and now people just
like the most stupidest shit I've ever like in my life, and I was like, oh, this is really stupid, was me as a kid watching Jackass or Viva La Bam, which is, you know, a spin-off of Jackass, and they do stupid shit all the time. But now you can just go on your computer, on your phone, and you can watch it anytime you want. It's weird, isn't it?
It's definitely weird, man. It's a weird world. Let's continue.
Yep. We're at 10 minutes and 18 seconds, and we're pressing play now.
Poker is an interesting
Watch
game.
the body language.
The similitudes of sitting across from a spy or sitting across from players, it's their reactions to a stimulus We have behaviors indicative of psychological discomfort that we use at home,
this is what you were talking about earlier, the
or
poker game.
at the poker
Yep.
table. So we're going to take a look at poker players and some of the body language that you'll find at a typical poker game.
I have no idea how to play poker.
So we'll pause it right
Me
there.
either.
My father-in-law tried
So
to
one of the things
teach
that
me.
you first notice is that
Didn't
when
work out.
a table is called, this is the first time many of them see each other. This is a great opportunity to be looking for behaviors indicative of discomfort. We're going to see the individual shifting in his chair. We're going to see one individual reaching over and grabbing his shoulder. The woman in this case, her shoulders are rather high. This is a great opportunity, even before the game starts, to collect poker intelligence.
All right, guys. Button is good. Button is good.
So we'll stop right there. Look where their hands are at. Here we're looking at player number 2 and number 3, and we notice right away that their hands are on top of the cards. Some players will cage their cards. Some players will put their hands directly on top and press them down. And they may do that because the cards have now increased in value. Player number 1 tends to keep his hands very close to his body. Player number 4, she's actually withdrawn her hands from the table because when we like things, we tend to move our hands forward. When we don't like things, we tend to move the hands away.
These guys are my cards.
So as we look at player number 3, I'm often asked about players who shuffle their chips. What you're really doing is self-soothing, and this just helps you to make it through the game, and that's really all we're looking for.
Oh, come on.
Okay, so we'll stop right there. Player number 5 is sitting there, arms crossed. You don't see a lot of activity. That doesn't mean he's not transmitting a lot of information. On down the line, I want to see where those thumbs of his are, because he holds them very close when nothing's going on. But does that change as the game evolves? If you're looking at nonverbals, it's often useful to look at them at double the speed because all the nonverbals that are critical jump out at you as though it were a caricature. All right,
they
so
sped
stop
it
right
up.
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
The woman in position number 4, you see her head moving around quite a bit. Player number 3, you see a lot of activity with his hands. When we look at player number 5, now his hands are fully out. This is as far as we've seen them before. At this point, we know that he's engaged and that he's interested. Now the game is out in the open. 75 to 80% of the information we need is sitting out there. What you often see is everybody's looking at their own cards or looking at the community cards rather than looking around. You should be looking around to see, well, what was the reaction? Because you're going to see that reaction again. You know, in poker, we used to say that you can have a poker face, but I countered you can't have a poker body. Somewhere it's going to be revealed. When I was in college in the early 70s, there were really no courses on nonverbal communications. You quickly realize that, to a great extent, it's really about what you can interpret from behavior. And so we talk about nonverbals because it matters, because it has gravitas, because it affects how we communicate with each other.
Stop it.
When it comes to nonverbal.
So, what'd you think of that whole video, Tony?
For the next 48 hours, I'm going to be watching how everybody around me moves their body, and then, you know, after the 48 hours, I'm just going to be like, whatever. But it's really interesting. Like, this guy knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, and remember, he points out that this is not to tell him someone's lying.
Yeah.
You're just basically reading what their behavior, what stresses them out, and what doesn't stress them out. So, yeah, in conclusion, a lot of people need to educate themselves. Maybe read this guy's book. If they're going to try to look at Sammy and be like, she's smiling, she's got to be a liar. Sammy's pulling her mouth inwards with her lips. You know, you people need to read a book. People need to actually understand what the fuck you're talking about. Also, when it comes to police, my advice to you guys, if you're called in to be questioned by the police, get a lawyer.
No, you're
And if
right.
they start, and then when they start saying, one of the questions we should ask you is, did you kill this person? Immediately get a lawyer and say this place, and just leave, or let them arrest you and go take into jail and wait for your lawyer. And this is just a lot of things we've just learned today. So, anything anyone has questions of, or you want to make a statement of?
No, I mean, everything, I just learned so much. Do you get what I'm saying? I learned about this case with this poor kid, and
Michael Crow?
yeah, and sadly, he's not the only one. He's not the only kid that's gone through this. Adults go through this too.
Yeah.
But I guess you feel a certain way when it happens to a kid. Do you get what I'm saying? Like the West Memphis 3 case. You know, yes, 3 little boys lost their lives, but also 3 little boys, teenagers, who you accuse them of doing this heinous crime, also lost their lives too. They spent almost 20 years in prison. They grew up in the system. That's horrible. And they were raped, beaten, and harassed so bad in prison. Everything was stolen from them, and all because you really thought they did it. Like, that's it. There was no proof.
Yeah, it's sad. But yeah, so this is the videos you want to watch, and you guys, if you want to watch them. But literally, my advice to people: stop trying to Google fucking facial things. Actually, educate yourself. If this guy, who's an FBI agent and espionage spy expert, figuring out if people are spies or not, has a hard time figuring it out after 30 years. A YouTuber that goes on Google is not going to figure it out immediately. So stop with your bullshit pseudoscience. There is no such thing as a lie detecting machine. The polygraph is just measures if you're stressed out. The stress analyzer, the voice analyzer measures if you're stressed. That's my point of the whole stream. So anyway, that's pretty much it. You have anything you want to add before we end it?
No, I'm all set, but Grandma Sherry says she has a request from you.
What's your request?
I hope it's
cookies. I have a request from B. What is the request from Grandma Sherry? I should call her Dr. Grandma Sherry because she might have read the Bible for 6 hours, so she's a doctor. Dr. Sherry, what's your advice to me?
We're all
What's your
doctors
request?
here.
We're doctors now. We all have read the Bible. It took us, we all at least read the Bible for 6 hours. So just like the inventor of that bullshit voice stressor machine.
I
we're all
graduated Sunday school. I taught Sunday school for a year or so. So I'm like a super duper doctor. Fucking Grandma Sherry!
Stop sending me nudes. I will. You know what? I will not. I will continue, just like Doug tells me to do. I will continue to send everyone nudes. A matter of fact.
Did he at least put the little cowboy hat on it for
Listen, that was a one-time thing, Tony.
I didn't ask for the googly eyes. You did that by yourself.
You weren't supposed to tell anyone. That was the whole idea. That was what you told me to do so I could be on the stream. You said, listen, the only way I'm gonna let you be on my stream is to put on this cowboy hat and go nude and show me a picture. And I said, fine.
It was the googly eyes that really set it in stone that it's no longer my stream, it's our stream. We're 50-50.
Yeah, I had to send the photos. That's the problem.
It's the wallpaper on my desktop, on everything.
It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. But anywho, let's end it there. And
I didn't ask you to talk for it.
Listen.
He sent a video, y'all. Let's be real. He sent a video and he was wiggling and he was like, "Hello, Tony," and the googly eyes with the cowboy hat. It was weird, but I loved it. He got the job. He got the job.
You're in trouble now. I'm gonna make an exposed video about you. I'm getting the evidence ready.
You can get it's fine. I still got the picture. It's not a picture. It's a video. It was amazing. It was amazing. Comical. I don't know why it lasted 5 minutes though. That's kind of a you thing.
I'm gonna have to contact Ranger. I'm gonna have to contact Ranger, the deep state espionage hitman.
B sent them to you. Yeah, B sent them to you. Did you get them too? You are cheating on me, B.
This is terrible. I don't like. We're gonna end it now. Goodbye, everyone. This is it.
I can't. Goodbye. We're gonna have words. Y'all have a good night tonight and enjoy your weekend. Y'all.
Delete the stream now. Get rid of the stream. This evidence needs to be deleted immediately.
We need to take Discord away from you because you're just sending it everywhere. We're gonna make an OnlyFans. That's what we're gonna do.
That's if the grifts don't work. That's the last option. Let's end it now. We gotta delete.
You're giving the milk for free. Nobody's gonna buy the cow.
Listen, we gotta delete the stream immediately. End the stream now. Let's go. Let's go.
Okay, hold on. Do not. Okay, hold on. I had a pop.